Good morning, students. Welcome you all once again in the live virtual classes organized by Board of Studies of ICAI. Students, today we are going to start one of the most important standard and one of the most lengthiest standard, one of the most biggest standard, revenue from contract with the customers, Ind AS 115. How many of you are aware about this standard? Ind AS 115, revenue from contract with the standards, revenue from contract with the customers. How many of you are aware about this standard? Priya, Sanjay, Udandam, Hardik, Miruna, Samenathan, Devrapal, Chitra, Bibhu. So how many of you are aware about the standard revenue from contract with the customers? Revenue standard. And friends, we will cover this standard into 5 classes, right? So you can understand that Board of Studies have given you 15-hour learning session on revenue from contract with the customer. And there will be a question, sure sort from this standard in the examination, right? In your CA final exam, you will have at least one question from 8 to 10 marks minimum, I would say, as far as my views are concerned. So you will have a 8 to 10 marks question in the exam from this standard, revenue from contract with the customer, Ind AS 115. How many of you are aware about this? I'm just asking this. Anyone who can write on the chat box?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Are you aware about this revenue standard? Okay, no problem. Let's start. So talking about the revenue, right? What is the revenue? Revenue is the top line of any revenue is the top line for of any organization, right? So many students have written that, sir, they are learning for the first time, they are attending for the first time. No worries, no worries. So revenue क्या होता है? What is revenue? Revenue is an income. Whether income is a revenue or revenue is an income. Income is a bigger word. Revenue is a subset of income. Okay. Revenue is an income. So revenue is a top line of any organization, right? Revenue is something which an organization earns as a bread and butter, right? The organizations, the companies which are earning the money out of their ordinary activity is known as a revenue. Okay. Friends, any organization which is working, they are working for earning revenue so that they will be able to meet their cost and expenses, so that they will be able to generate profit, and so that they will be able to survive in the long run, right? That is the objective. That is the objective of the revenue standard. That is the objective of earning revenue. That is the revenue, right? So students, let's talk about the overview of revenue standard first of all, and then I will jump into the one by one the concept of this standard. This is one of the biggest standard, lengthiest standard, and this revenue consists of almost 156 pages of your ICAI Board of Studies material, right? So big standard. It's not a small standard, it's a big standard. That is why ICAI has given you 5 classes, 5 lectures on this particular standard. Students, I hope my Excel file is visible.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Visible, sir.
Let me give you the overview of revenue standard. First of all, which standards are applicable in India and globally? Friends, while you are learning Ind AS 115 for the first time, but you are already aware about the accounting standard, old accounting standard, right? IGAP, AS. In accounting standard, we have AS 9 and AS 7. AS 9 was talking about revenue recognition. AS 9 was talking about revenue recognition. Okay. And AS 7 was dealing with the construction contracts. So AS 9 was dealing with those revenue recognition from sale of goods, supply of services, interest, royalty, and dividends, right? And AS 7 was dealing with the revenue from the construction contracts. So these are the two standards which are applicable as on date in IGAP, in accounting standard. Now, what happened? After accounting standard in India, we have Ind AS also. And Ind AS are the converged version of IFRS applicable to India. Yes? Our Ind AS standards have come from IFRS standards, right? So friends, in IFRS, up to 31st March, up to 31st December 2017, in IFRS, there were two standards, International Accounting Standard 11 and International Accounting Standard 18. IAS 11 was taking care of revenue from construction contracts, and IAS 18 was taking care of all other revenue in addition to construction contracts, right? So this was the status globally up to 31st December 2017. Then what happened in India? In India, up to 31st March 2018, and you are aware in India, we are following financial year. Globally, we are following calendar year. Okay. So up to 31st March 18, in India, we have Ind AS 11 parallel to IAS 11, which is talking about the revenue from the construction contracts, and Ind AS 18, which is talking about all other revenue in addition to construction contracts. Right. This was the scenario up to December 17 globally and up to March 18 in India. We had two standards on revenue. One, construction contract revenue. Number two, all other revenue. Now, what happened? Globally, they have changed this standard. They have aligned the standard. They have changed the standard, and they told that we should have a single model for revenue recognition, for revenue measurement, for all the industries. We should have a single model. And what they did, they effective from 1st January 2018, they have deleted this IAS 11 and IAS 18. They have deleted, and they have issued a single standard, revenue from contract with the customer. From which date? From which date they have issued?
Oh,
1st
First
January,
Jan
1st January
2018.
2018. So globally means out of India, they have deleted IAS 11 and IAS 18, and single revenue standard for all revenue was notified, and name of that standard was IFRS 15, and title was revenue from contracts with the customers, right? And they have also elaborated the title. They told that to from whom you are generating revenue. You are generating revenue from the customers, right? So who will be your customers? Who is receiving the goods and services supplied by you? They are your customers. Okay. So friends, 1st January 2018, a new standard, a single standard on revenue came, and the name was IFRS 15, revenue from contract with the customer. Similarly, अगर कुछ 1st जनवरी से हुआ है ग्लोबली, तो इंडिया में कब से होगा?
1st April
1st
financial
April.
year.
1st April financial year beginning से. So as a response, as a reaction in India, effective from 1st April 2018, we have notified a counterpart standard Ind AS 115, revenue from contract with the customer. We have deleted Ind AS 11 and Ind AS 18, and we have issued a single standard, a single revenue standard for all revenue which was notified, which was Ind AS 115. Okay. So to cut a long story short, which accounting standards are applicable as on date? Accounting standard, IGAP. Tell me quickly. Which AS?
IAS 115.
I am talking about accounting standard. AS. Ind AS नहीं पूछ रहा. AS.
AS 9 revenue recognition, AS 7 construction contract.
Two standards. Yes, AS 9 and AS 7. In IFRS, which standard?
Ind AS 115 revenue from
IFRS.
contract with
In IFRS.
IFRS 15.
IFRS 15. So IFRS 15 is applicable for revenue as on date. In Ind AS, which standard?
115.
115.
Ind AS 115. So as of now in India, in accounting standard AS 9, AS 7 जो आपने CA Inter में पढ़ा है, which you have studied in CA Inter. Then in Ind AS 115. Globally, IFRS 15. Okay. So now you understood the geometry of this standard, right? So Ind AS 115, AS 9 and AS 7 and Ind AS 115. Okay. These are the standard on revenue applicable to India, right? The companies which are following accounting standard, AS 9 and AS 7. The companies, listed companies, big companies, they are following Ind AS 115. Okay. So what is there in our syllabus? For CA final, Ind AS 115 is applicable. Ind AS 115 is relevant. Okay. So why it is important to tell you this entire story? Because at times when you Google or when you probably download the old videos, right? You may found a reference of IAS 11, IAS 18 or Ind AS 11, Ind AS 18. So you should be aware that yes, these standards were applicable in the past, but effective from 1st April 2018 in India, from financial year 18-19, what is applicable to you guys? What is applicable? Ind AS 115 is applicable. Okay. Right? So I will share this Excel file also. So I have written that in Excel file, these are the applicable standard as on date. Okay. These are the applicable standard as on date. I hope it is clear to all of you. Yes. Clear hai na?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very much clear. Okay.
Absolutely.
Great. Absolutely clear. Very good. Okay. Now, what is meant by revenue from contract with the customer? What are the three keywords? Revenue from contract with the customer. What are the three keywords in this standard? Revenue from
Revenue,
contract with the
contract,
customer.
customers.
Revenue, contracts, and customer, right? These are the three words. Revenue, contracts, customers. Have you seen any profit and loss of any company or Schedule 3? Have you seen the P&L format of any company? So
Yes,
what are
sir.
the two items? What are the two items which comes at the top of the statement of profit and loss?
Revenue from operation,
Revenue from operations, other comprehensive.
Other income.
other income.
Other income. Revenue from operations, other income, then the total is total income. This is the format which is prescribed by Schedule 3, Division 2 to Schedule 3 of Companies Act. Yes. So download the annual report of any company. I'm not taking a name of the company, any company. Go to the statement of profit and loss. What you will find? The first line item, revenue from operations. The second line item, other income. And this total is known as a total income. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So now the question is, what is revenue? Right? Whether revenue is an income or income is a revenue. Revenue is an income. Income is a wider word. Revenue is a smaller word. Income is a wider word. Okay. Revenue is a subset of a income. Revenue is subset of the income. Okay. So revenue is something which is generated from the operations, which is generated from the ordinary activity, operating activity. We discussed at length the meaning of operating activity, meaning of operations in the cash flow statement also, right? In days 7. So friends, what is a revenue and how it is different from other income, how it is different from gains? Revenue is something which is generated from the ordinary activity of the entity, ordinary activity of the business, right? For example, Ambuja Cements Limited. Ambuja Cements Limited. What is the ordinary activity? What is the nature of business of Ambuja Cements?
Selling cement, sir.
Selling cements. So the nature of the ordinary activity, the nature of business of Ambuja Cement is to selling cements. Okay. So whatever Ambuja Cement is earning out of selling cements, that is revenue or that is income. I mean to say revenue or other income.
Revenue,
that is
sir.
revenue. That is revenue.
Revenue.
So Ambuja Cements are investing the surplus funds into fixed deposits. They are selling cements. They are also incurring expenses. They have some surplus funds. And whatever surplus funds are there, what they are doing, they are depositing the money into State Bank of India and they are also receiving interest. In that case, is it a revenue or is it a gain? I mean to say other income.
It is other income.
Interest
Other
on
income.
deposit is other income and then this is known as a total income. Okay. So This is how this revenue is different from other income. In this standard, whether it is talking about revenue or it is talking about other income.
It is talking about revenue.
Revenue.
Talking
Revenue,
about
sir.
revenue. नाम ही revenue है ना. नाम ही revenue. It is talking about revenue. So what is the revenue? Revenue is something which is arising from the ordinary activity of the business, which is main activity of the business, which are the operations of the entity. And revenue is something which is received from the customers. Okay. What are the gains? Gains are not from the ordinary activity of the entity. I mean to say the business of the company is not to deposit into the fixed deposit. कंपनी का बिजनेस नहीं है फिक्स डिपॉजिट में इन्वेस्ट करना. ये तो सरप्लस फंड से इसलिए इन्वेस्ट किया. कंपनी का बिजनेस है सीमेंट्स प्रोड्यूस करना, सीमेंट प्लांट लगाना, सीमेंट बेचना, सीमेंट मैन्युफैक्चर करना. दिस इज द मेन ऑर्डिनरी एक्टिविटी ऑफ द कंपनी, राइट? इज दैट क्लियर? Is that clear? And what is the income? Income is total from the main activity and the other activity. This is known as a income. So in this standard, we are talking about revenue, which arising from the contract, which is having with the contract from the customer. Revenue from contract with the customer. So what is a revenue? Revenue is an income arising in the ordinary course of business of the entity, right? Is that clear? Now, are you clear? So in the interview, when people come to me for financial reporting profile, chartered accountant, fresher chartered accountant, the first question I used to ask them, for example, you came to our company, I'm working with Indigo Airlines, you came to our company, so tell me, selling tickets is a revenue or income? Right?
Selling ticket is a revenue, sir.
Is a revenue, right? So normally people says that, normally the fresher chartered accountant says that, sir, it is an income. So it is an income, but what is the granular part of the income? Income is a bigger word. So I used to ask them. So they say that, sir, it is an income. It is a revenue. And revenue is an income which is arising in the ordinary course of the entity, right? So please remember, be specific, okay? Something which is arising from the ordinary course of the business of the entity, it is a revenue. What is a contract? Indian Contract Act 1872. What is a contract? Contract is an agreement enforceable at law. Contract is an agreement enforceable at law. आपने पढ़ा है ना इंडियन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्ट 1872?
यस सर.
याद आ रहा है आपको कुछ? सीए इंटर में पढ़ा है?
फाउंडेशन में सर.
Foundation, CA Foundation, Indian Contract Act 1872. A contract can be written, a contract can be oral, a contract can be express, a contract can be implied. Yes?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah. So contract is an agreement enforceable at law. For example, Saminathan is, let's say, he is my, let's say he is one of the brightest students, Saminathan, very close to me. And he came to me and, I have gifted him a mobile phone, right? And after 3 months, this mobile phone stopped working. Whether he'll come to me to get this mobile phone repaired, whether he will show me that the phone which you have gifted me, it is not working anymore.
No, sir.
No. Okay. But
You can-
at the same time, Saminathan, so I have gifted him a mobile phone and he has also purchased a mobile phone for his parents. Okay. At the same time. So the mobile phone which I have gifted him, he is using that mobile phone, and the mobile phone which he has purchased for his parents, right? So again, that mobile phone also stopped working after 4 months. So in that case, whether he'll go to the shop, to the company to get it repaired or not.
Yes, sir. For that, he will get repaired. He will go to the repair.
Yes, he will go for the repair. He will go
Yes,
for the
sir.
replacement because it is in warranty, because he
Yes,
has paid for that, right? So between me and Saminathan, that was not an agreement enforceable at law. That was not a contract. Okay. We have not entered into any contract. It was out of love and affection. It was out of gratitude.
Love and
It was not out of a contract. It was never a commercial transaction. Okay. But when he purchased, he got an invoice. He got a warranty also. Okay. and the company is obligated to make good the loss which is there to Swaminathan in warranty period. Okay. So what is a contract? A contract is something, an agreement which is enforceable at law. Sir, for example, a shopkeeper is selling a stationery. Shopkeeper is selling a stationery. Shopkeeper is selling a grocery, and we are buying grocery. Okay. A medicine shop is selling medicine, and we are buying medicine. Sir, will he, the medicine shop, Apollo Pharmaceuticals, they are selling medicine. What is their revenue? Their revenue sale of medicine. So, sir, if I'm going to them and I'm purchasing paracetamol or Dolo 650 mg, so should I do a contract first? Whether that Apollo Pharmaceutical should do a contract with me to recognize the revenue? Answer
No,
is
sir.
no.
It's an implied contract.
It is an
No.
implied contract. You went to the shop, you paid the money, they raise an invoice, right? They issue an invoice to you, and it is an implied contract that if you are paying a consideration, they are selling their ordinary goods and services, right? That goods and services is of a desired quality and the required quantity. If they will sell the expired medicine, and if there is any problem to the customer can take them into the court of the law. Why? Because the customer has paid the money and they have raised the invoice. So it is an implied contract. Invoice is an implied contract. Okay. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Is that clear to all of you? Yes.
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
I hope you guys are enjoying the session. I am giving a lot of example just to set the context. Okay. So that it will get printed in your mind. Revenue we understood how it is different from other income or gains, and we understood that how it is a subset of income, of an income. Contract we understood. Okay, now who is the customer? Who is the customer? One of the student asked me, sir, who is a customer? So I told him customer is a person, जैसे नाम है ना customer, कष्टों में मरा हुआ customer, right? So कष्टों में मरा हुआ कौन होता है कस्टमर? हु इज द कस्टमर? फ्रेंड्स, कस्टमर इज अ पार्टी. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, यू Saurav went to buy a pen from the stationery shop. So who is Saurav for that stationery shop? He is a customer.
Customer.
Saurav is a customer. A customer is a party. Saurav is a party who obtains goods or services, who obtains pen. Who obtains pen? Saurabh is a party who obtains what? Who obtains pen, right? Which is an output of the entity, which is an output of that stationery shop in the ordinary course of the business and in exchange for a consideration. Saurabh is a party who went to the stationery shop for buying a pen, right? For buying a pen, and in exchange for a consideration, in exchange for a 20 rupee note. So that guy is a customer. That is the definition of a customer. कौन होता है customer? A customer is a party who obtains goods or services, which is an output of the entity in the ordinary course of the business and in exchange for a consideration. And in exchange for a consideration, right? Not out of love and affection, not out of gratitude, not out of gift. It is not a gift. In exchange for consideration. Saurav is paying for that. Okay. So it means even this standard has defined customer also. Customer कौन होता है? जो goods and services receive करता है, payment करता है. कौन सी goods and services? जो कि एक entity का ordinary course of business है, right? So friends, if the company entity is receiving money from the customer, that will be recognized as a revenue from operations, right? For example, I have a car, okay? And I'm using that car for my own purposes, okay? And I'm a teacher. So I told in my class that I want to sell my car. Priya came to me. Priya told, sir, I have heard that you want to sell your car and I want to buy your car. So I am selling car to Priya. Okay. Of course, Priya is a customer for me, but whether C is a customer for me in accordance with Ind AS 115?
No, sir, since it's not your ordinary course.
Ordinary course of business.
Whether my ordinary course of business is to sell the car?
No.
No, no,
No, sir. No, sir.
not in the
You are
ordinary course of business. So I have only one car. I don't have fleet of cars. I have only one car, which is getting older now. I want to buy a new car, and hence I'm selling this car. My bread and butter, my job is not to sell the car. I'm not earning money. I'm not winning my livelihood by selling cars. I'm winning my livelihood by doing a job, by teaching, okay, not by selling a car. So if I will see the definition, Priya is a party who obtains goods or service, who obtains car, which is an output of the entity. क्या वो मेरा output है? Answer is no. Which is an output of the entity in the ordinary course of business. Whether my ordinary course of business is to sell cars. Answer is no. My ordinary course of business is not to sell cars. And hence, my dear friends, Priya is not a customer, and hence, my dear friends, this sale of property, plant and equipment is not a revenue from operations for me. Is that clear? What is that car? That car is a property, plant and equipment for me, and sale of PP&E, sale of property, plant and equipment is not a revenue from operations. Yes or no?
yes, sir. It is other income.
It is a other income. It is not a revenue from operations. It is a other income, right? Okay. Yes, very good. So friends, now another example. Reliance Industries Limited. Sorry. Reliance Industries Limited, RIL, is distributing dividend to the shareholders, X Limited. Reliance is a big company. They are a profit-making company. They are paying dividend to the shareholders. Okay. And who is the shareholder? X Limited is the shareholder. Neha Agarwal is a auditor of an entity, X Limited, right? So this X Limited has received a dividend from Reliance for 10 lakh rupees. They have huge amount of shares of Reliance, and they got a dividend of 10 lakh rupees from Reliance. And Neha is the auditor of X Limited. X Limited is a shareholder of Reliance. X Limited has received the dividend, right? X Limited got an income of 10 lakh rupees. So whether X Limited, the money which X Limited has received from Reliance, is it a revenue from operations? Neha?
No, sir, it is income.
It is not a revenue from operation. It is a other income, right? It is an income, but which income? It is other income. Why? The money which you are receiving from Reliance is not your customer, right? You are not receiving the money from Reliance in the capacity of a customer, right? You are not the supplier. You are not the vendor, right? So Reliance is not obtaining any goods or services, which is your output. Your means X Limited output. Reliance is not receiving any goods and services, which is an output of X Limited in the ordinary course of business, and in lieu of which Reliance is paying you consideration. No. Why Reliance is paying you dividend? Why Reliance is paying you consideration? Because you have invested in Reliance, right? And Reliance, and you are not the vendor or supplier in Reliance. You are the shareholder of Reliance. Okay. So whatever money you are receiving from Reliance, it is not in the capacity of a vendor and customer relationship, right? That is why it is a other income. Okay. So whether dividend is in income in the books of X Limited and will be covered under Ind AS 115, dividend is not a revenue, and hence it will not come under Ind AS 115. It is an income, right? Clear or clear?
Clear,
Sir.
sir.
Clear? So Miruna, dividend is not the normal. So dividend, again, normal course of business means ordinary activity. So whether Miruna, X Limited, ordinary activity is to earn their livelihood only from dividend, what happens tomorrow if dividend will not come? The companies are not obligated to pay dividend. If they have the profit, they will pay dividend, otherwise no. Correct? Okay. What about other students? I can see the response only from 5-6 students. The others are not responding on the chat box. Friends, have you understood? Naman, have you understood whatever I have covered so far? Anushi, Ankit, Vibhu,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
absolutely
Sir, I
clear?
have a doubt. Suppose a company is into the business of investment, so in that case, then this revenue, like dividend, will be a part of revenue or other income only. If
It
it
will
is in the
then
business
it
of
will become
investment only.
their main activity. Then it will become their main activity. Okay. So then it will come under revenue. You remember in cash flow statement what we did? In cash flow statement, if it is a NBFC or banking company, if it is a finance company, then for them this dividend income is a operating activity. It was not an investing activity. Dividend received. Dividend paid was financing activity, but you remember dividend received, interest received, that was the operating activity for the finance
Yes, sir.
companies, for the banking companies, for the NBFC companies, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So you have to see what is your ordinary course of the business, right? What is your bread and butter? What is your main business? From where you are earning, from where you are paying your salaries to your employees. Okay. Yes. But others, are you able to understand completely all others? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, friends, before moving into this standard, I will give you a helicopter view of this standard, right? I will give you helicopter view. Then I will make your soft landing to this Ind AS 115. Friends, before giving a helicopter view, so let me talk about the agenda of this standard. Then I will give you the helicopter view, and then I will take you one by one into this particular standard. Okay. Friends, this standard is very scoring standard, very, very, very important standard from examination perspective and from real life perspective, right? Because you will find revenue in every entity. है या नहीं?
Yes, sir.
अगर किसी एंटिटी का रेवेन्यू नहीं होगा तो एंटिटी क्यों होगी? Would
Yes,
you
sir.
like to join a company which does not have a revenue?
No, sir.
No.
But
वो
into
एंटिटी भी नहीं होगी ना. If entity is into something, of course they are earning revenue, right? And believe me, if you will go into the controllership profile, financial reporting role, right, audit role, assurance, audit, so the question will be asked from this Ind AS 115, not in the exam only, but in the real life also. Okay. Yes. Friends, we will be talking about the scope of this standard, that where this standard is applicable, right? This standard is applicable from all the revenue which the companies are earning from the customers. Okay. Few are exclusions. For example, lease revenue, leases. For example, a business of the company is to land is to provide the machineries on a rental basis. A company has purchased some machinery and they are letting out those machineries for the purpose of earning rentals. Okay. So whether that rental income, and of course it is the ordinary activity of the entity. So is it whether that will come under Ind AS 115 or Ind AS 116?
It
Lease
will be part
income.
of India's 116.
It is
116.
part of Ind AS 116. Ind AS 116 specifically talks about the leases income, right? So that is kind of an exclusion. So this is like these kind of exclusions are given in the standard, 3-4 exclusion, but otherwise all the revenues will come under this standard. Like interest, dividend, these are measured as per Ind AS 109, not as per Ind AS 115. Okay. While it may be a revenue from operations, but that revenue is not measured as per Ind AS 115 as per the specific standard. Okay. Friends, this standard talks about 5-step model, right? 5-step model. The heart of this standard, if I talk about the heart of this standard, the heart of this standard is 5-step model. 5-step. This is the heart of this standard. Okay. This standard revolves around 5-step model. This standard has given you 5 steps. And in our 5 days, we will be covering 5 steps only. Okay. What are the 5 steps? The first step, the standard talks about identification of a contract. Please identify. Is it a contract with the customer? Please identify. Please identify whether the mobile phone which I have given to Saminathan, is it a contract with the customer? No, no. So if it is not a contract with the customer, then whether I need to check all other steps, whether I need to see revenue should be recognized or not recognized. Yeah. Answer is no, because it is not a contract with the customer, because it is not a contract with the customer. Okay. Right.
Yes,
It's
sir.
not a contract with the customer. So Miruna is asking a question. Miruna is asking, sir, I have a doubt as per section 56 of Income Tax Act. Dividend received is charged under income from other sources. Even though we are in the business of trading shares, in that case, if the company is an investing company which is trading shares, does this income is considered as revenue or income? So Miruna, the concept of companies books means Companies Act, and the concept of Income Tax Act is the two different concept, right? Like dividend, like depreciation. You are charging depreciation as per the useful life, but in Income Tax Act, they have a separate this thing. They have a separate rule, right? WDV concept, block of asset concept. Likewise, if I talk about provision for gratuity, provision for leave encashment, in your Companies Act, in your Ind AS accounting standard, they says that you have to accrue the provision for gratuity and recognize it as an expense. But Income Tax Act says that no, we don't know about provision for gratuity. We will not allow you any provision for gratuity. Yes. So the provisions under Companies Act and Income Tax Act are different. So even though in Income Tax Act it will be income from other sources, but for the investment companies, this dividend interest is considered as a revenue from operations. Okay. So now coming back to my scope, the first step is to measure any revenue of any company. The first step is to identify, is it a contract with the customer? And how you will identify whether that entity is paying whether that customer is paying a consideration, whether the entity is selling a goods or services to that party, which is the ordinary activity of the entity, right? So these are the things which you need to check. Okay. So identify the contract with the customer. And there are few more things which are given in this step number 1, and we will talk one by one. Okay. So identification of a contract with the customer. Then determine performance obligation. What is meant by determine performance obligation? Means how many performance obligations are there in the contract. For example, I have a coaching center, let's say. I'm just giving a hypothetical example. I have a coaching center. And I am also author of a book treatise on Ind AS. Okay. This is right. So students are coming to me and, I am teaching students and I'm charging a tuition fee. I'm charging a coaching fee. And the student who is buying a book from me, I'm also charging the price for the book separately. Okay. So I have also offered a package. And what is that package? That package says that in 10,000 rupees, I will give you my book and I will also teach you financial reporting, complete financial reporting. Okay. Subject. So tell me in this case, what are the 2 promises I have made to my customers? What are the 2 things which I will deliver to my customers?
I will give my notes and classes forever.
Book, I will give my book and my classes. The students who are not buying the book from me, they can buy from the market also. And the students can choose only to take class, only to take book also. Okay. So it means there are 2 separate performance obligations. For example, a student who has given me the money and who will not come for classes. Okay. So A student who has given me money for the book and I delivered the book. Okay, my job is over. Okay. But if he will pay me for the classes, I will give him the classes. Okay. So the second step is determine the performance obligation. What are the performance obligation of the entity? What are the performance obligations of the entity? Okay. Then third is transaction price. What is the transaction price? For example, in my example, identify the contract with the customer. Yes, my job is to provide coaching and that party is asking for a coaching. He is ready to pay, right? And hence it is a contract with him. What is my performance obligation? Selling book and giving classes is my performance obligation. Two performance obligation. When I will recognize revenue for sale of book, when I deliver the book, I get the money, I will recognize the revenue. When I will recognize the revenue for the classes on completion of the course, on completion of the classes, or on the pro rata basis also. Okay. What is the transaction price? The transaction price is a price which I am charging from him. For example, 10,000 rupees. Allocation of price. If he is giving me 10,000 rupees, that 10,000 rupees will be allocated into what? Allocated into multiple performance obligation. So this 10,000 will be allocated into which two performance obligation?
Books and classes.
Classes. Book and classes. Okay. Fifth one is recognition of revenue. Recognition of revenue. So recognition of revenue. So now you have identified it as a contract with the customer. You have identified what are the performance obligation. You have identified what is a transaction price. You have allocated the transaction price to the performance obligation also. For example, there are two performance obligation, delivery of goods and providing classes. So now the time has come for recognition of revenue. So how you will recognize the revenue? At a point in time and over a period of time. Sale of book. Sale of book. When you will
At the
recognize the
time of
revenue?
sale. At the
At the
time of
point in
sale.
time.
Point, at a point in time.
At a
At
point
a-
in time. You will recognize the revenue from sale of book at a point in time. At a point in time means at the time of sale of book.
Sale.
And when you will recognize the revenue from classes?
Over
On the
period
pro
time.
rata basis or on the completion of classes.
Yes, over the period. Over the period. For example, I have different sections. Different sections means in FR, I have asset-based standard, liability-based standard, financial instrument, consolidation-based standard. Okay. So these are the modules. These are the modules. Okay. So once I'll complete one module, I can recognize the revenue from that module. Okay. So this is how I need to recognize my revenue. So friends, have you understood this 5-step model? थोड़ा थोड़ा, not पूरा. अभी तो पूरा के लिए तो बहुत टाइम है. But have
Yes,
you
sir.
understood little bit?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Overview of this is very clear, sir.
Overview of the standard is clear. So friends,
Yes, sir.
all the revenues on this planet is measured as per 5-step model. Measured as per 5-step model. Okay. Right. So these are the 5 steps. So number one, scope, then the 5 steps, which is heart of the standard. And the last one is disclosure. Okay. So this is the agenda of the standard. And within that, we will discuss lot of stuff, right? Believe me, in the 5 days, I will cover more than 30 case studies from ICAI study material, 30 to 35 case studies with lot of layman language examples, right? And with all the concepts summarized in the Excel file also. Okay. Friends, who is in scope or affected by the standard, an entity shall apply the standard to all the contract with the customer except with the following. लीजिंग कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, ये भी तो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है, आपने अपना घर किराए पे दिया है, आपने अपना ऑफिस किराए पे दिया है, and your business is to give on leases basis. So lease contract is not covered under Ind AS 115. Lease contract is covered under Ind AS 116. Insurance contract is covered under Ind AS 117. Financial instrument under Ind AS 109, and non-monetary exchange between the entities in the same line of business to facilitate sale to customer or potential customer. What is this? What is this? For example, so let me complete this. For example, I am a garments manufacturer or supplier. Louis Philippi. Louis Philippi, LP. LP is a garments manufacturer. Here it is Ellen Soli. Ellen Soli. And what is Ellen Soli? Garments supplier. Okay. Ellen Soli. So a customer came to buy a white shirt. Okay. Sanjay went to LP and Sanjay wants to buy a white shirt for the interview. White shirt. Plain white shirt. LP does not have, but Sanjay is a regular customer of LP. LP went to Ellen Soli and LP asked, do you have the white shirt? Plain white shirt. White shirt में कुछ पसंद तो नहीं करना होता ना? Plain white shirt में?
नहीं सर.
Okay. Plain white shirt तो plain white होती है ना, उसमें क्या पसंद करना है उसमें? Okay. So LP went to Ellen Soli and asked, dear, I have a customer, I don't have a white shirt. And can you please lend me white shirt? Can you please give me one white shirt? And my stock is on the way. When my stock will come, I'll return you. Okay. I will return you. So Ellen Soli has given a white shirt to LP and LP has sold to Sanjay. Right. Sanjay is the customer of LP. So when LP sold this white shirt to Sanjay, right? So there are two transactions here. Ellen Soli has given white shirt to Louis Philippi. Louis Philippi will return that white shirt to Ellen Soli. It's a kind of a return. I mean to say, Louis Philippi also support Ellen Soli when Ellen Soli does not have the product. Okay. So the exchange between the Louis Philippi and Ellen Soli, is it an exchange of money or is it a non-monetary exchange?
It's a non-monetary exchange, sir.
So when Ellen Soli has given the white shirt to LP and LP will give the white shirt to Ellen Soli, will they recognize revenue from each other?
No.
Sir, there is
No, sir.
No. Why no? Because it is a non-monetary exchange between the entities in the same line of business. Okay. Ellen Soli and Louis Philippi are in the same line of business and they are doing a non-monetary exchanges. They are doing a non-monetary exchanges and hence, my dear friends, when a non-monetary exchange is happening between the parties in the same line of business to facilitate sale to customer or potential customer, then it will not cover under Ind AS 115. Okay. It is not a Ind AS 115 transaction. Okay. So when this LP will recognize the revenue, when it will sold the goods to Sanjay, right? So only this leg will be recognized as a revenue and this leg will not recognize as a revenue. Okay. It's a non-monetary exchange or certain transactions that do not arise from a contract from the customer, such as dividend. Okay. For example, for an investment company, dividend is a revenue from operation, but it is not covered under Ind AS 115. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
I hope this is clear. Scope part is clear. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So core principle, 5-step model. We have discussed step number 1, identify the contract with the customer. Step number 2, identify the performance obligation in the contract. Step number 3, determine the transaction price. Step number 4, allocate the transaction price to the performance obligation. Step number 5, recognize revenue when or as each performance obligation is satisfied. Recognize revenue at a point in time or over a period of time. Okay. Yes. So friends, now I want to give you aerial view, helicopter view. Okay. अभी तक आपको जो भी कॉन्सेप्ट बताया समझ में आया आपको? Have you been able to understand?
Yes, sir.
So up to this part, what we have covered which standard is applicable in India, right? Like Ind AS 115 in Ind AS and AS 7 and AS 9 in accounting standard. Globally IFRS 15. And we have also discussed the history of the standards, right? Then what we have covered? We have covered the meaning of revenue. How is it different from other income and gains, right? How it is different from income. So we have discussed meaning of revenue. Then we have also discussed the meaning of contract and meaning of the customer with the help of few examples. Okay. Then what we have covered? We have covered the scope, that revenue, all the revenues are in the scope of Ind AS 115, except there are negative list which is given, like Ind AS 116 leases, insurance contract, financial instrument, Ind AS 109, okay, your non-monetary exchanges and your dividend, etc. Okay. So then we have covered all the revenues has to be measured as per 5-step model. Identify the contract with the customer, identify the performance obligation, determine the transaction price, allocate the transaction price into the performance obligation, recognize revenue at a point in time or over a period of time. This is what we have covered in the last 45 minutes. Okay. Now I'll give you a helicopter view of Ind AS 115, which will help you in having a control and command over this detailed standard, over this big standard. Okay. Voltas Limited. Voltas Limited has sold an air condition to Mr. Ram on 15th October 2023 for rupees 50,000. वोल्टास ने मिस्टर राम को 15th मार्च 23 को एयर कंडीशन सेल किया for rupees 50,000. The company has only delivered the air condition unit until 31st March 2023. और कंपनी ने क्या किया? The company has delivered only AC unit. आपने AC देखा है ना, AC यूनिट होती है, राइट? AC का स्टेबलाइजर होता है, ओके? So there are a lot of things. So the company has only delivered AC unit until 31st March 2023. The company promised to provide AC unit, stabilizer, installation service, and one free service every year to the customer over a period of 2 years. क्या क्या प्रॉमिस किया इस कंपनी ने? वोल्टास ने क्या 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 देंगे?
AC unit, stabilizer, installation service, and free delivery for 2 years.
One free service, one free, not delivery, one free service, repair, one free
Yes, sir.
service every year to the
For 2
customer
years.
over a period of 2 years. 2 year का सर्विस भी दिया. आप एसी की सर्विस कराते हो ना, तो ये एसी की
हाँ, sir.
सर्विस भी फ्री दी. दो सर्विस फ्री दी. ओके, राइट. The stabilizer and installation service was provided on 20th May 2023. So this Ram has paid 50,000 to Voltas. Ram has paid 50,000 to Voltas. And when he has paid 15th March 2023, the contract was there with the Ram on 15th March. But when the company was closing the financial year up to 31st March, the company has only delivered air condition unit. The company has neither provided stabilizer nor provided any installation service or any free service. Okay. And this stabilizer and installation service was provided on 20th May 2023 in the next financial year. And the customer has availed the free service in November 2023. And the first service the customer has availed in November 2023. Being an accounting expert, the company needs your guidance for recognition of revenue in 22-23, 23-24, and 24-25. Assume that the customer has not availed the second maintenance service. First question to all of you, question समझ आया या नहीं आया?
Yes, sir.
I need the confirmation from everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Question is very clear, sir.
Yes, sir.
Anyone,
Yes, understood.
anyone to whom the question is not clear, because it is the base. This is the helicopter view. मैं आपको ऊपर से पूरे दर्शन करा रहा हूं Ind AS 115 के. Okay. I am getting you into the holy darshan of Ind AS 115 with the help of this example. So that is why I am categorically asking, is there anyone who is not able to understand this layman language question? Yes. Everybody has confirmed that yes, sir, they have understood. Right. I can see lot of interaction on the chat box. Friends, this question has given you the consideration. This question has given you the date of delivery of the goods and services. This question is asking you what amount of revenue is going to be recognized in the financial year 22-23. Why? Because the contract is happening on 15th March 23. So financial year कौन सा हुआ? Up to 31st March 23 is the financial year. Okay. 22-23 is the financial year. Right. Then the stabilizer and installation service is delivered in 20th May 2023 and one free service in November 23. So 23-24 financial year हो गया. And the second service, and when the second service was supposed to be provided, what was the timeline up to which the second service can be provided? 15th March 23 say up to 2 years, 15th March 2025, right? ठीक है ना?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now I will ask you 5-step model. I will get you into the 5-step model and I will ask you questions. Question number 1. Is it a contract with the customer? Whether Ram is a customer for Voltas?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Very
Yes,
much.
sir.
Yes. This is a contract with the customer. This is a contract with the customer. Ram is a customer of Voltas. Step number 2. Identify the performance obligation in this contract. What are the performance obligation in this contract? How many performance obligation in the
AC unit, stabilizer, installation services, and maintenance services. So 4 obligations are there.
very good AC unit, stabilizer, installation service and maintenance service. 2 maintenance service है बट मैं उसको एक परफॉर्मेंस ऑब्लिगेशन मानता हूं. ठीक है ना? तो टेक्निकली नेचर की अगर मैं बात करूं तो देयर आर 4 परफॉर्मेंस ऑब्लिगेशन. करेक्ट? यस और नो?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
AC unit, stabilizer, installation service and maintenance service. There are the 4 performance obligation in the contract. So, okay, identify the contract with the customer, determine the performance obligation. Step number 3, determine the transaction price. What is the transaction price in this contract?
50,000 rupees.
50,000.
3,000.
Transaction price is a price of a transaction. At what price this transaction is happening? 50,000 rupees. That is known as a transaction price. ट्रांजैक्शन प्राइस का मतलब ट्रांजैक्शन का प्राइस, जिस प्राइस पे आप ट्रांजैक्शन कर रहे हो, द प्राइस एट विच द एंटिटी इज डूइंग अ ट्रांजैक्शन, दैट इज अ ट्रांजैक्शन प्राइस. ओके, सो 50,000 is the transaction price. Now, allocate the transaction price. Allocate the transaction price to the performance obligation. Now, this 50,000 has to be allocated into how many performance obligation?
4.
4.
Nothing is free in this world. Why that company is giving you free service? Because you have purchased a car. And don't you think when they will give you service, they have to incur a cost? So don't you think they have already factored that cost while selling the car? जब उन्होंने कार का प्राइस डिटरमिन किया होगा तो उसमें उन्होंने उसको फैक्टर किया होगा नहीं किया होगा?
Yes, sir.
Yes, clear.
If they have factored, and they are not selling you car, they are selling you a package, and that package includes that free service also. And this company, the car company, the automobile company, they don't have only one performance obligation, which is sale of car. They have two performance obligation when they are selling car. The first performance obligation is sale of car. The second performance obligation is to provide free service. Provide service free of cost for a agreed period of time. आपको पता है ना, हर साल में एक सर्विस होती है, 10,000 किलोमीटर पे एक सर्विस होती है.
Yes, sir.
So the
Yes, sir.
company is incurring a cost for satisfying that service. The company is incurring a cost. Don't you think if the company is incurring a cost and the company will accrue the cost in the period in which it is incurring? So going by the matching concept, don't you think the company has to recognize revenue also for those services? And don't you think for those services, the company has already taken the money in advance at the time of sale of car? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So likewise, all these electronics company, what do you think? This AC company Voltas has given you free service for 2 years. Is it an actual free service? They have
No,
already
sir.
charged. They have already charged as a package in advance. उन्होंने पहले से ही आपको charge कर लिया है. They have charged as a package in advance. Okay. So friends, now the question come, sir, you got a 50,000 rupees of transaction price, right? How you will allocate this transaction price into these 4 performance obligation? Allocation is required because when we will complete one performance obligation, we will recognize revenue. Yes or no? Right?
Yes, sir.
So I need to allocate my transaction price into the multiple performance obligation. And how I will do this? Standard says that you need to allocate transaction price into the performance obligation on the basis of standalone selling price of the performance obligation. And what is meant by standalone selling price? If you would not have purchased stabilizer from this air condition company, probably you can purchase stabilizer from any electronic company. आप मार्केट से स्टेबलाइजर परचेज कर सकते हो नहीं कर सकते?
Yes, sir.
कर सकते हो.
Yes, sir.
Day before yesterday, I bought my stabilizer stopped working. I bought a stabilizer from one of the electronic company, right? So there is a market value, market price of stabilizer. Okay. Installation. Can you call some mechanic for air condition installation?
Yes, sir.
There are a lot of
Definitely.
mechanics. There are a lot of mechanic. They will charge for window air condition. They will charge 1,000 rupees. For split AC, they will charge 1,500 rupees. I am talking about Gurgaon. It could be vary from a place to place, right? So maintenance service, free maintenance service. So if this company will not give you maintenance service, can't you get a maintenance service? You call a mechanic and you will say that please service my air condition. Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We
You
can
will
do
pay
that.
500 rupees for window AC, and he will get the maintenance done. He will get the service done. Okay. What does it mean? It means these performance obligation has a standalone selling price. These performance obligation has a standalone selling price. These performance obligation has a market price, market value. Okay. So standard says that you need to allocate transaction price into the performance obligation on the basis of their standalone selling price. For example, if this company would have sold only AC unit, it will cost. Matlab, the value of only AC unit is 48,000. If this company will sell stabilizer, the value is 4,000. If this company will only provide installation service, the value is 1,000 rupees. If the company only provide maintenance service, or the market value of this maintenance service, the market value of AC unit, the market value of stabilizer, the market value of installation service, the market value of maintenance service is 2000 rupees. So what is the total value of this package?
55,000.
55,000.
55,000 is the total standalone selling price, the total of the standalone selling price of every performance obligation. What is the transaction price? What is the transaction price? 50,000 is the transaction price. You need to allocate this transaction price to the standalone, to the performance obligation. How should I allocate? On the basis of their standalone selling price, on the basis of their market price. So I need to allocate 50,000 into the ratio of what? Into the ratio of their standalone selling price, their market price. So how do I allocate? 50,000 multiply by 48,000 divided by 55,000.
55.
You can say one more thing. What you can say? You can say for overall 55,000, my transaction price is 50,000. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? 5,000 का discount दिया. Yes or no? Right?
Yes, sir.
By purchasing, by having this package, the customer got a discount of how much? The customer got a discount of 5,000 rupees, right? Okay. So then 50,000 multiply by what? 4,000 divided by 55,000.
55,000.
50,000 multiply by 1,000 divided by 55,000. इसका टोटल भी 50 आना चाहिए, है ना? Multiply by 2,000 divided by 55,000. आ गया आपका टोटल 50,000? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So we have understood, identify the contract. Yes. Identify the performance obligation, determine the transaction price, allocate transaction price into the performance obligations on the basis of market price of the performance obligation, standalone selling price of the performance obligation, right? And how to allocate, is it clear? In the ratio of their standalone selling price. Okay. Now recognize the revenue. Now you have measured the revenue. Now recognize the revenue at a point in time or over a period of time. So air condition unit. This unit was delivered when? 15th of March. So air condition unit, you will recognize the revenue at a point in time, at the time of delivery or over a period of time.
At a point in time on delivery.
As soon as we deliver.
At a point in time. Stabilizer.
At a point in
The
time.
point.
Point in time.
Installation service.
Over a period of
This will
at
also
a
at the point in
At
time.
a point in time. Only one time installation.
Installation service one time होती है या कई महीनों तक चलती है?
one
It's a
time.
one time. It's a one time, na?
One
The
time.
mechanic will come. He will get the AC installed in 1 hour, 2 hour, or maximum 3 hours, right? So at a point in time, maintenance service
Over period of time.
over a period of time. There are
Period of
two. So this customer is entitled, and this company is obligated to provide two free service over a 2-year period. कभी भी ले लो, over a 2-year period. Okay. So now, have you understood this 5-step model?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Have you understood what this standard talks about 5 steps?
Yes,
Whether
sir.
this helicopter view was the helicopter view? आपको ये helicopter view लगा या नहीं लगा?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So should I also give you the accounting entries? अभी तक हमने ये नहीं देखा कितना कितना रेवेन्यू रिकॉग्नाइज करेंगे. हालांकि अब हम निकाल पाएंगे because we know the transaction price of the performance obligation. Should I also help you with the accounting entries?
Yes, please, sir.
Okay. Friends, now what is the accounting entries in the books of Voltas Limited? Okay. Financial year 22-23. 15th March 23. What is the accounting entry? How much money this company will have received? 50,000.
50,000
Bank account
received.
debit. Bank account debit to revenue from sale of AC unit. How much revenue from sale of AC unit? 43,636. The remaining amount The remaining amount will go to the liability, deferred revenue liability, being revenue recognized on the sale of AC unit. Right? So,
Yes.
what is my P&L for 22-23? The revenue of not 50,000, the revenue of 43,636 is going to be recognized. Any challenge, any problem, any question up to this level?
No, sir.
No? Yes? Okay.
No.
Very good. So now 23-24. What happened in 23-24 में क्या हुआ था? अब stabilizer and installation service was provided on 20th May and one free service was availed in November. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now in 23-24, I will split into two dates, 20th May or November, right? दोनों में अलग अलग. On 20th May, when you will provide stabilizer and installation, whether this company will charge any money?
No,
Bank
No, sir.
account तो
Already.
debit नहीं होगा ना? Already
No.
received.
Yes, sir.
Already received.
deferred.
So bank account will not be debited. What is
Yes,
debited?
sir.
Deferred revenue will be debited. So how much deferred revenue will debit? So
Revenue.
let's see what is the total 6364 deferred revenue has been debited. So let's see what is the revenue for stabilizer and revenue for installation service. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So deferred revenue liability account debit to revenue from stabilizer and installation. Any doubt, any challenge on this accounting entry?
No, sir. It's clear.
No? I hope it is clear. On
Yes, sir. Clear.
30th November, on 30th November, this customer has availed one free service also, maintenance service also. Then again,
Then
deferred revenue debit to revenue from maintenance service. So 1818 is the revenue for two service. So what is the revenue for one service? 909. वो दो सर्विस थी ना, that was two service, correct?
Yes, sir.
That was two service. Being revenue recognized on the delivery of first maintenance service. Okay. So 23-24 we are over. What is the total revenue in 23-24? 5455. 4545 plus 909. Friends, then what is written? We have covered the first maintenance service also. Then the question says that assume that the customer has not availed the second maintenance service. So what was the timeline for availing the second maintenance service?
that is 15th of March
15th March
2025.
2 years. 2 years from the date of purchase, 15th of March 2025. So if the customer will come after 15th March 2025, whether this company will entertain the customer?
No, sir.
No.
आप अगर वारंटी पीरियड के बाद अगर रिपेयर कराने जाते हो तो क्या कंपनी करके देती है आपको फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट? नो.
No, sir.
राइट?
No, sir. Even
Yes. Okay. So friends, now this entity will wait for 15th March 2025 and the customer has not come. So what this entity will do? This entity will debit the remaining deferred revenue liability, which is 909 rupees. Okay. ये कितना बचा? 909 rupees बचा ना? 909 rupees. The company will debit this deferred revenue liability and the company will credit the revenue from maintenance service. Being revenue recognized on the expiry of second maintenance service. Okay. Right. So what is the revenue in 24-25? 909 is the revenue for 24-25. Right. So this is the 50,000. This is how this revenue is going to be recognized. I hope this is clear to everyone. The accounting entry is this deferred revenue liability. I hope it is clear to everyone.
Yes, sir. It's very much clear, sir.
Now, in continuation of above example, assuming the customer has availed the second maintenance service on 25th March 2024. अब क्या होगा? So purchase date 15th March 23. Expiry of first maintenance service 14th March 24. expiry of second maintenance service 14th March 25, right? Availed 30th November and 25th March 2024. So this customer has availed these two services. Okay. So friends, tell me, in this case, what will happen? Instead of expiry, the customer has availed second maintenance service.
Yes, sir. This 909 also is recognized in the year 23-24.
That's the only thing. This 909 will also recognize in the year 23-24. And the same entry will be the same. The only thing is, doesn't matter whether the service is expired or service is availed, the revenue has to be recognized. Okay. But here the date is 23-24, and hence this revenue is going to be recognized in 23-24. Okay. When the customer will avail, it will be recognized. Fine. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Clear,
Any
sir.
question? Any question up to this level? Any question so far?
Sir, if maintenance service is available, so in that case, expense also will be booked, na?
So yes, expense has to be booked. See, this standard only talks about the revenue, and why this standard has given you the proportionate approach. Why this standard has told you that first you need to identify the performance obligation. The biggest weakness, the biggest problem in accounting standard was, for example, Skoda. I bought a Skoda car and I paid money to buy a Skoda car and I got a free maintenance service for 4 years. Right? Think from the Skoda perspective. And it's been 2 years when I bought my Skoda car. And when I went to the service center, right, I am not supposed to pay a single penny of money. Just a month back, my entire clutch plate got repaired, right? My clutch plate, my brake shoe, all these things have repaired. And I asked Skoda, what is the price for that? So they told me it will, if it is not in your warranty period, or if it is not in, basically at the time of sale, we have given you the free package for 4 years. If it would not be there, you would have to pay us 18,000 rupees. So see, the Skoda has a cost. When the Skoda is repairing my car, Skoda is incurring a cost. But the problem in the accounting standard was they were not recognizing the revenue in the period in which the cost is incurring. When the supplier or vendor is providing a goods or service to the customer, which is free of cost in that period, so revenue was not coming, the cost was coming. And was it a free? It was not free because it was sold as a package. The price has already been factored for all the goods and services which has to be given to the customer. Price already factor ho chuka hai uska. The only thing is, since it is tagged as a free, and that is why the revenue was not getting recognized, right? Whatever the customer has paid at the time of buying a car, the entire money has been recognized as a revenue. But when this 115 concept came, and the cost was one of the criteria which says that since when you providing a goods or service, you are incurring a cost. So going by the matching principle, you should have recognized a revenue. So the question आया, कैसे recognize करें revenue? Then Ind AS 115 has given a solution. It says that first of all, when you are a company who is recognizing a revenue, you need to identify what are the performance obligation, what you are going to provide as a goods and services. So once you identify the performance obligation, doesn't matter you are getting a money upfront, like in case of automobile industry, in case of like इलेक्ट्रॉनिक इंडस्ट्री, आपको पैसा एडवांस में आ जाता है, पूरा पैसा, पूरा पैकेज का पैसा है वो. It is not the money for only car. It is not the money for TV, washing machine, air condition. It is the money for the package. So then standard says that whatever money you are receiving, that is a revenue. आपका जो पैसा आ रहा है वही रेवेन्यू है ना. अगर मान लो आपने कस्टमर कंपनी की कॉस्ट है किसी प्रोडक्ट की 50,000 रुपीज और कंपनी ने कस्टमर को 40,000 में बेच दिया. So what is a revenue? Whether cost is a revenue or the price which is receiving from customer is a revenue.
Price which is received, that is
Yes.
revenue.
In that case, the company will have a loss of 10,000 rupees. Okay. So that is why the Ind AS 115 has given a solution. Ind AS 115 says that once you identify the performance obligation, you know the transaction price, whatever money you are receiving from the customer, please allocate that money into those performance obligation. How to allocate? On the basis of the selling price, on the basis of the market price, you should allocate. Okay. And you should recognize your revenue in the period in which you are satisfying the performance obligation. Right? Is that clear? तो cost तो understood है, cost तो पहले भी आती थी. Right? So this standard is not covering the cost, this standard is covering the revenue. And cost was the basis for which this standard has changed. Okay, right? I hope it is clear to all of you now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, absolutely clear. Any doubt?
Sir, absolutely yes.
Clear in mind for everyone? Clear in mind for everyone?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Very good. Friends, if whatever I have covered in the last 1 hour and 21 minutes, if that is clear, believe me, you have a strong base for lending into Ind AS 115, right? You have a strong base for lending into Ind AS 115. Now you have understood that why performance obligation, what is performance obligation, what is the transaction price, why to allocate, right, for the purpose of revenue recognition, and what is this deferred revenue, how to recognize, how to measure. Okay, so we have covered this concept, right? Perfect.
Yes, sir. So shall I remove the seat belt from the helicopter?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sir, one thing, like in case service is availed of maintenance service, so for that booking the cost, what will be the journal entry in that case?
Sorry, I haven't got your question. For example,
Sir, like maintenance service is availed by customer, and then what will be the entry for booking the cost means expense of that maintenance service?
cost of expense.
Yes, sir.
So cost of expense, for example, the company has sent his mechanics. So the company does not have his own mechanic. The company has outsourced the service, right? Customer, you are the customer. You called Voltas that please, you have booked a call. हाँ, ऐसे ही करते हैं ना, आप कॉल बुक कराते हो. So you have called
Yes.
on a customer care center. You told Voltas that, I am entitled to receive a free service. Can you please send your technician? He got your address, and he will send his technician. Voltas will send his technician. So the technician is charging 400 rupees from Voltas for every visit. Okay. So Voltas will recognize revenue, deferred revenue liability to revenue from maintenance service, 909 rupees. And now, since Voltas has sent the technician to your place, the technician will charge 400 rupees from Voltas. So what Voltas will recognize as an expense? So Voltas will recognize as an expense. So cost of service, cost of providing service, or let's say technician expenses account debit to bank account or to cash account. That's the thing. Expense account debit to cash account. Right?
Okay, sir. Understood.
Clear?
Thank you.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
On the
Now clear.
revenue side, so इस साल में क्या होगा, जैसे मैंने आपको ये दिखाया अभी, what will happen in this year in the P&L? In the P&L, so I have shown you revenue because this is a revenue standard. In the P&L, in 24-25, you have availed a service, 909 rupee. So Voltas has incurred a cost of 400 rupees to provide this service to the customer. So 909 is the revenue, expenses 400. इस ट्रांजेक्शन में प्रॉफिट कितना आ गया? इस ट्रांजेक्शन में 409 is the
409.
profit, right? Yes.
Yes.
So friends, it's 8:25 now. Let's have a break for 10 minutes and we will start at 8:35. Okay? Ashok ji, break start. So, Prithvi Raj, do you have any question? Prithvi Raj? I think he's not there. Yeah. Anyone has any question? No question up to this level? Shall I move forward? Yeah. Yes. So friends, now let's come to the PPT again. And friends, let's discuss the first part. Identify the contract with the customer, right? Step number 1. So as we discussed, what is a contract? A contract is an agreement enforceable at law, right? A contract is an agreement between two or more parties. For entering into a contract, you need two or more parties. A contract can be written, can be oral, or can be implied, right? But it must meet a specific criteria. It does not exist if both parties can cancel without penalty. So for becoming a contract, an agreement has to be enforceable at law. Enforceable at law means any party who can breach, the party is supposed to pay a penalty. तभी तो enforceable होगा ना, otherwise enforceable कैसे होगा? Okay. So friends, it could be written, it could be oral, it could be implied. You know, in banking industry, and I still remember 5 years back. So I am holding HDFC credit card, right? And they have announced an offer that we will provide an instant loan, an insta loan to our credit card holders at a very nominal rate of interest. So 5 years back, I was in the need of a money, and I have seen that there is an offer which is going on my credit card. So I called to the customer care and I said that I need a loan. Okay. And you understood that if you went to the bank and you ask for a loan, there is a loan agreement which is required to be signed. Yes or no? Loan agreement sign hota hai na?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Between the banker and between the customer, there is a loan agreement which is required to be signed, and loan agreement has a lot of terms and conditions, right? So in that case, that Insta loan, right? The customer care executive told me that Mr. Garg, you are on the IVR, you are on the recorded line, and we will ask you some questions and you have to put the answer to those questions. You have to press hash key and then your loan will be approved and money will be credited in your account within 24 hours. So friends, I got the money from the bank, right? I haven't signed any agreement, any contract. I haven't signed. So tell me in this case, whether it is a contract with the customer for a bank, whether I am a customer or not.
Yes, sir. It's a contract with the customer, sir.
It is a contract with the customer, but I haven't signed any agreement then.
You given the yes, no, you replied to the answer, no, it is recorded.
It is recorded. So it was an oral contract. It was an oral contract. So that banking industry is a kind of an industry where you provide the permission on the recorded line, backed by some questions, backed by some confidential data facts, which you are aware and the banking industry is aware, right? And it is on the record of the banking industry. So when it matches, for example, if I have to, let's say, I have to, ask any information about my credit card statement. Okay. So in that case, ICICI Bank told me that please press your, please write your, or please press your, put your date of birth in DDMMYYYY format. Okay. So when I put DDMMYYYY format, so when it matches with the banking record, so it says that yes, sir. So please tell us how we can help you. But let's say if it not matches, so then they will say that, sir, it is not a right information. Sorry, we can't proceed. Correct? So the industry which are operating, these are kind of the industry mechanics, right? Which is considered as an agreement, right? These are the way by which a customer is entering into an agreement with the banker. Okay. So agreement could be written, could be oral, it could be implied, could be expressed, right? And agreements are those agreement right? Agreements, contract are those agreements which are enforceable at law, means which includes penalties. If an agreement which can cancel without any penalty, it is not considered as a contract, right? Yes. So friends, standard says that for identifying a contract with the customer and for being a contract, the parties must have approved the contract and are committed to perform. Okay. So one who is receiving the goods and one who is giving the goods, of course, when they are agreed, right? They are agreed on a consideration, they are agreed on the quality, they are agreed on the quantity. So it says that the party should have approved the contract and committed to perform. Each party's rights are identifiable. So the rights are identifiable means it should be clear that the vendor or supplier, what sort of goods, what quantity, what quality he will deliver, and the customer, that when he will pay the money, how he will pay the money. For example, few companies say that we will only receive. So recently I got my house renovated. So I went to Finista. Have you heard about Finista? So they are providing UPVC window and glasses. Finista is a company. Okay. I went to Lesso also. Lesso is again a company. So when I went to Lesso, Lesso told that, the dealer of the Lesso, they told that we accept cash also. Lesso says that, for example. But Finista says that no, we will only accept money by way of either UPI or through banking channel. UPI, credit card, NEFT. Okay. So it means each party's rights are identifiable, right? They says that. So when the purchase order was prepared, when the pro forma invoice was prepared, in the terms and condition it was written that Finista's obligation was to install the windows and doors to the customer premises. The customer will pay for the transportation. The customer will provide all the access to take all those windows and doors to the customer flat. Okay. Right. And customer will pay the 50% amount in advance, 50% amount at the time of delivery of the goods, and all the monies has to be paid through the banking channels. So what are these things? These are the rights and obligation of each parties. Okay. These are the rights and obligation of each parties. Each party's payment terms are identifiable. Payment terms should be there. Contract has a commercial substance. Contract should not be out of love and affection. It should not be it should not be like a non-monetary exchange between the same line of entities, right? It should have a commercial substance. Okay. It should have a commercial substance. And most important, it is probable that the entity will collect the consideration if it is entitled to in exchange for the transfer of goods or services to the customer. To cut a long story short, for satisfying the first step, identify the contract with the customer. Of course, it can be oral, written, express, implied. The party should have approved the contract. Rights are identifiable. Payment terms are given. It has a commercial substance, right? And number one, the entity is probable that it will collect the consideration. For example, I am a chartered accountant and I am providing GST services. Okay. And I have entered into a contract with a company that I will file the GST returns on a quarterly basis. I will file GST return on a quarterly basis. Okay. And how much I'll charge? I'll charge 50,000 rupees per quarter. 50,000 rupees per quarter. So 2 lakh rupees for the year. 2 lakh rupees for the year. Okay. Yes. So friends, and when I entered into the contract with this company is a bankrupt company, right? The company is bankrupt. They are not able to meet the obligation of their employees, their vendors, their suppliers. They have default of TDS dues. They have default of PF, ESI, TDS, etc., etc. They have a lot of defaults. Now, I have entered into a contract with such a company which is not able to pay the money to their vendor, creator, supplier, etc., and employees. So I have filed my GST return for the first quarter. Should I recognize revenue? Should I recognize revenue on accrual basis? Contract is there. I have also performed my performance obligation.
No, sir. It is not probable that the entity you will collect the money.
Yes, you are absolutely right, Saminathan.
It is
Whether
a
all
kind
of
of
you,
contingent asset.
yes, kind of contingent asset, yes, but contingent asset doesn't require recognition. If it will be recognized, it will become an asset. If it will become an asset, मतलब revenue recognize कर लोगे. Entry तभी pass करोगे ना, debtors account debit to revenue. Okay, so contingent asset disclosure is required. That is okay. I am talking about whether you are going to recognize a revenue in this case. So you will not recognize revenue. Why? Because as Saminathan has told that because it is not probable, there are not more than 50% chances that the entity will be able to collect the consideration, right? So in these cases, revenue has to be recognized when the certainty of collection will exist, right? When the probability of collection will exist. So the most important point in step number 1 is probability of collection, right? So in the question, you know how the examiner will trap you in the question? The examiner will say that the transaction price of this contract is 50 lakh rupees. And the promoter of the company are 80% certain that the company will not be able to get 50 lakh rupees, but the company will be able to collect only 40 lakh rupees, right? So in this case, you know how student think about, okay, my transaction price is 50 lakh rupee. Let's recognize the revenue of 50 lakh rupees. And what we will do, we will create a provision for bad debt of 10 lakh rupee. Correct? This is how students are thinking. But in the standard, the first step talks about one thing, that you have to recognize the revenue to the extent the probability of collection of the consideration is there, right? So in this case, the probability of collection of consideration is up to 40 lakh rupee. You expect that I will be able to collect only 40 lakh rupee. So you will recognize the revenue on accrual basis for 40 lakh rupees. But for example, subsequently, let's say you got entire 50 lakh rupee, then the 10 lakh rupee will be recognized either on a receipt basis or when the certainty of collection will exist. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is one of the important aspect. आपको पता है ना, जैसे कई बार क्या होता है, in a day-to-day life, you must have witnessed, you went to your friend is a garment supplier. Okay. You went to your friend and you bought a shirt, a t-shirt and a jeans. T-shirt and jeans. You asked, what is the price? So your friend told, अरे not to worry, we'll see that. कर लेंगे, कोई बात नहीं, ले जा अभी. Okay. The price is, for example, 5,000 rupees. Okay. Or your friend has told you 5,000 rupees, but your friend knows that you will not give him 5,000 rupees. आप उसको 20-25% कम करके ही दोगे. उसने आपको बेस्ट रेट लगाया है, फिर भी you will not pay that money. So your friend is aware, your friend has sold goods on credit for 5,000 rupees, and he is aware about as per the past precedent, that he will never get 5,000 rupees completely. He will get the money in the tune of 3,500 to 4,000 rupees. So what is the probability of collection of consideration? Is it 5,000 or is it 4,000?
4,000.
So how much revenue has to be recognized at the time of delivery of the goods?
4,000.
4,000. But what happens if you will pay him 4,500 then?
Then
Okay,
sir,
we will-
सब recognize करेंगे.
Then 500 rupees, additional 500 rupees has to be recognized when you have given him the money 4,500, right? Is that clear? So, sub theory hai baki. What is the most important point in this identify the contract with the customer? The most important point is whatever is the probability of collection of consideration, right? To that extent, revenue has to be recognized. Revenue has to be recognized on the accrual basis, right? Is that clear? बाकी सब थ्योरी है. No need to remember, no need to, no need to read, no need to remember. Just once you have to read, and that's okay, right? But the only thing is you need to understand what is a contract. You guys know what is a contract, right? And with the help of the example which I have taken, like loan, okay, you will always be remembered to understand. Okay, so contracts does not mean signing on a stamp paper. Contract comes into a variety, okay, oral, implied, written, express. So there are so many forms of the contract. It depends on the industry practice also. Like banking industry has this practice. Okay. Yes. So let's discuss illustration number 1. Illustration number 1 from ICAI study material. New Way Limited decide to enter a new market that is currently experiencing economic difficulty. Okay. And expect that in future the economy will improve. New Way Limited enters into an arrangement with a customer in the new region for supplying networking products for promised consideration of 12,50,000. At contract inception, New Way Limited expects that it may not be able to collect the full amount from the customer. Determine how New Way will recognize this transaction. Ayushi, not Ayushi, Anushi.
Yes, sir.
Please
Sir,
help me with the answer.
Sir, he will recognize the transaction at estimated price that he is about to receive. He will receive, not at the exact 12,50,000.
So you're
Because
absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So basically you are saying that while the goods which he has sold, the transaction price is 12,50,000, but he will recognize the upfront revenue at the time of selling the goods. He will recognize the upfront revenue only to that extent, the money which he is expecting to collect, right? This is what you are saying. Okay.
yes, sir.
For example, out of 12,50,000, this company is certain that New Way is certain that, okay, at least 50% I will be able to collect. Out of 12,50,000, at least 6 to 7 lakh I will be able to collect. So this entity will recognize a revenue of 7 lakh rupee. Okay, right? Whatever money this entity is estimating, this entity will recognize the revenue to that extent. Okay. So what is the accounting entry? Debtors account debit to revenue, 7 lakh rupees. But let's say the time passes by. After 3 months, this debtor is giving in money in the stages. Okay. After 3 months, this debtor came and this debtor has paid only 8 lakh rupee. Okay. And this company is chasing, but he is not paying. So this company was chasing since beginning and this debtor has paid only 8 lakh rupee. The company has already recognized revenue of 7 lakh rupee, debtor account debit to revenue. Now the company will recognize 1 lakh rupees of additional revenue. Debtor account debit to revenue 1 lakh rupee additional revenue. Why? Because it becomes certain now. Okay. And for example, when this debtor came for paying 8 lakh rupee, the debtor has also promised to pay additional 2 lakh rupee. उसने प्रॉमिस कर दिया, उसने डेट दे दी, उसने बोला कि आई विल पे यू दिस 2 lakh rupees more. Okay. In that case, while you have received only 8 lakh rupee, but he has promised to pay you 2 lakh rupee also, and you expect that I will be able to collect this 2 lakh rupees more. So you will also recognize this 2 lakh revenue at that point of time when it becomes certain, right? So what I'm trying to tell you upfront on the day one, when you are recognizing revenue, you will recognize revenue to the extent you are expecting to collect the consideration. But subsequently, while you haven't received the money, but subsequently, if you estimate that I will be able to collect more consideration, then revenue has to be recognized when certainty of collection will exist, not the money will received. Certainty of collection will exist, right? There is a difference between certainty of collection and collecting the consideration. दोनों में फर्क पता है ना आपको?
Yes, sir.
है ना? Certainty of collection and collecting the money. You are chasing your father. Papa, I need money, I need money, I need money because I have to go with my friends on a vacation. Please give me 50,000 rupees. Your father is not ready to pay you 50,000 rupees. So till the time your father will not become ready, will you make a plan with your friends? You will always tell your friends that my plan is dicey. I'm not sure. बिल्कुल सही बात है ना? So
Yes,
you
sir.
are
Yes,
you are
yes.
continuously chasing your father. Your father agree to pay you 50,000 rupees, right? So your father said, okay, beta, I am ready to pay you 50,000 rupees. Okay. He hasn't paid you 50,000 rupees. He agrees to pay you 50,000 rupees. Now what you will do? You will call
We'll
your
make
friend.
plan.
You will
Yes.
call your friend. Let's make a plan. Let's enjoy. Right? Let's book the tickets. Okay. So you will make a plan. So, but money you haven't received. But what you received? Certainty of collection. Your father has agreed. And then you will tell your father, Papa, I have already made a plan. My friend has already paid for the tickets. You have confirmed that. And of course, your father will not back out. Right? Until and unless you will back out. अगर उन्होंने आपको कोई प्रॉमिस किया है और उन्होंने आपको कोई कंडीशन लगाई है कि आई विल अलाउ योर वेकेशन ओनली व्हेन यू कंप्लीट योर कोर्स, राइट? सो अगर आप नहीं करोगे तो वो भी नहीं करेंगे. सो हैव यू बीन एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस कॉन्सेप्ट? Very important concept from the examination perspective also. This is where students are making mistake. They only consider transaction price. They don't consider the probability of collection or certainty of collection. And at times, the students will get trapped. They thought that this condition is only for the upfront revenue when you are recognizing for the first time. This is for the lifetime. Doesn't matter whether you have received the revenue or not. You have received the money or not. For example, this is a new market. And on the day one, this entity is not expecting any collection. This entity is saying, oh my God, this is a very stringent market and people are not paying money. So will this company recognize any revenue even after selling the goods?
No.
Day one पे कोई भी day one पे they are not expecting any collection. Day one पे. So of course no. But subsequently after 3 days, the customer came and the customer told, sorry, I was not able to pay the money on that day, but I will pay you after 15 days. Okay. So this is my house, this is that. Please come to my house also. Please come to my office also. So the customer agreed to pay the money. And he told that I will pay you only 10 lakh rupees. So whether you will recognize revenue of 10 lakh rupees, whether you will recognize the revenue of 10 lakh rupees when the 10 lakh rupee will be received or when he agrees to pay you 10 lakh rupee.
When
When
he
he
received
agrees
it,
to pay, because certainty he
When
has came.
yes, when the certainty of collection was there, when he agrees to pay you. So when the certainty of collection exists, then you will recognize the revenue and you will pass an accounting entry, debtor account debit to revenue. पैसा ही आ गया तो फिर debtor क्यों करेंगे? फिर तो cash account debit to revenue हो गया. Correct? Okay. So illustration number 1 is from your ICAI study material. And let's discuss one more illustration from my own example. And this is there in your study material also. An entity sells 1,000 units of a prescription drug, means medicine. Drug is not a drug, medicine. An entity sells 1,000 units of medicine to a customer for a promised consideration of 1 million currency unit, 10 lakh rupees. 1,000 units for 10 lakh rupees. This is the entity's first sale to a customer in a new region, experiencing significant economic difficulty, and the entity expects that it will not be able to collect the full amount of promised consideration. Okay, this is the entity's first sale. The entity determines that it expects to provide a price concession and accept a lower amount of consideration from the customer. The entity expects to be entitled to currency unit of 4 lakh rupees. Okay. The entity considers the customer ability and intention to pay, the estimated consideration, and conclude that even though the reason is experiencing economic difficulty, it is probable that it will collect 4 lakh from the customer. It will collect 4 lakh from the customer. Okay, right? So it will not collect, it will not recognize 10 lakh rupees. It will recognize 4 lakh rupees. Okay, so the certainty of collection depending on what? Depending on the intention and ability to pay. Like you remember in my example of bankruptcy, that the client to whom I was filing the GST return, the client becomes bankrupt. So in that case, I will not recognize the revenue till the time the certainty of collection will exist. Okay.
Sir,
So
generally, sir, that the company when they're making sale, they will provide at the credit sales basis. They will fix the credit limit also. Based on that, they will recognize the revenue.
yeah. But what happens, Saminathan, at times, and why this standard becomes important, right? So when you are looking at, certainty of collection, you are also looking at past trend and the current situation of the customer also. All these big companies have big customers, okay? Like Reliance, Tata Motors, Tata Steel, Maruti, Hindustan Unilever. All these companies have a big customers. Let's say the credit limit is there, you're absolutely right, which is depending on the paying capacity of the customer. Okay, so one company can provide goods on credit to a particular customer for 2 crore rupees. For another customer it could be 50 lakh rupees only, right? Credit limit. But let's say there was a good trend of a customer who was always paying money in time, right? But after COVID, that customer is experiencing a financial difficulty and suddenly the customer has started defaulting the payment in time. Okay, so now what you will do, and you know that customer is experiencing a significant financial difficulty, and you want to support that customer because that was the oldest customer. Okay, so that customer does not have a bad intention, but the customer is not having a ability to pay. So in that case, what you will do, while you have set the credit limit, you are selling within that limit, but now this customer is getting a significant financial difficulty. So in that case, so whether you will recognize revenue at the time of sale of goods or you will wait for certainty of collection.
Yeah, we will wait for certainty of collection.
You will wait for certainty of collection, means whatever amount you are certain that you will recover, of course, to that extent you will recognize the revenue. Correct?
Right, sir.
Yeah. And why standard has, take this criteria, because at times it becomes important when the company will recognize the bogus revenue and subsequently the company will write off. For example, I need a higher revenue in the current year. So what I'll do, I'll recognize a revenue on 15th of March or 25th of March. To close my financial year, I will recognize revenue of 50 crore rupees. I know that I will never receive this money. And I have booked the invoice in the name of Ram, Syam, Ghanshyam and Radheshyam. And I know that no Ram, Syam, Ghanshyam, Radheshyam will pay me any money. Right? Subsequently, I will write off in the next period. And I know that in the next period, I will have a huge amount of revenue. So what will happen? In this year, I don't have good amount of revenue. So I have recognized bogus revenue. So my P&L is improved in this year. Next year, I know that I will have a huge amount of revenue. So what I'll do in the next year, in the next year, I will return off this Ram, Syam, Ghanshyam and Radheshyam. I will write off this debtor. I will have a big expenses, right? So again,
Yes, sir.
I have planned my current year, I have planned my next year just by entering into this bogus transaction.
Yes,
Are you
sir.
able to appreciate the concept?
Yes, sir. I'm able to appreciate. Also, the interim financial statement 34 also it's not
Yes.
allowing.
Yes. So that is why, 115 says that, so regulator will ask you, NAFRA will ask you that you have written off this entire 50 crore at the first place. Was this revenue was supposed to be recognized, or are you just fooling your users of the financial statement? Was it a planned transaction or is it an unplanned transaction, right? So because if the collection certainty was not there even on the first day, how have you recognized the revenue? It means you have done the non-compliance with Ind AS 115. Okay. Yes. So now moving further.
Sir, I have one question. I'm not
Yeah.
sure it's like if I missed that one. So it's like when we are making a contract, it's like we were certain that the complete amount is going to be received. But within the same financial year, we just later realized that, okay, we're not going to receive that. So are we going to reduce the revenue, or it's like, is that being shown as a bad debts?
Yes. So I'm supposed to cover this. So on the day one, or let's say subsequently, certainty of collection was there. Okay. And you have recognized the entire revenue. And that was right. In the subsequent period, for example, you have already recognized the revenue because certainty of collection was there. And you have recognized the revenue that customer was always paying you in time. And the credit period was 6 months. Okay. So in the next year, in the month of June, the customer faced a significant financial difficulty due to abnormal loss to the customer, right? Now, this customer is not able to pay you full amount, but you have recognized the revenue for full amount in the last year. In this case, standard says that once you recognize the full amount as a revenue, why? Because certainty of collection was existing. And of course, you have done your analysis, you have the past trend, and the auditor has also audited that. But subsequently, the things become problematic. So now you have to create a provision for bad debt. You will not reverse your revenue. Okay. You will create a provision
Yes.
for bad debt. I hope I have answered your query.
Yes,
Right?
sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Very, very good. Thank you. Yeah. So friends, contract now. Again, standard talks about contract term. Contract term is very important for recognition of a revenue. Okay. Let's say the company has done a contract with a customer for 6 months, and 6 months period, let's say there is a gym company, and so this company has collected 10,000 rupees, and the company has told customer that you can come anytime in the next 6 months. Okay. You can avail our services anytime for this 6 months. Okay. And we are obligated to provide you the service. But after expiry of 6 months, right? After expiry of 6 months, the services we will not provide at your discretion. After 6 months, you have to pay us the money again. Okay. Friends, 10,000 rupees I have received as a gym company upfront from Naman. Okay. And I have given him the window of 6 months. Jab marji aao, jab marji gym karo. No problem. 10,000 rupees I have received. So what is the contract term? 6 months. Contract term क्या है मेरा उसके साथ, नमन के साथ? 6 months is my contract term. So this 10,000 rupees of revenue, I should recognize on day one, or I should recognize over a period of 6 months.
Over the period of 6 months.
Over the period of 6 months. So contract term is important. But for example, I have recovered 10,000 rupees and I told Naman that Naman, the period is 3 months. So 3 months period is an obligated period. Okay, obligatory period. So I will not stop you for 3 months, but the next 3 months. So there is a window of 6 months. The 3-month period is an obligatory period for me. I mean to say, I will entertain you whenever you will come. My instructor will entertain you. But after 3 months, it is on our discretion. If we have the bandwidth, if we have the space, then we will entertain you. Otherwise, we are not obligated to entertain you. In this case, what is the contractual period? 3 months or 6 months? What is the contract term?
3 months, sir.
3 months.
3 months is the contract term. Whether I should recognize the revenue of rupees 10,000 over a period of 3 months or over a period of 6 months?
Over a period of 3 months.
Over a period of 3
3
months. 3 months means the period which I cannot cancel, right? If I'll cancel, I have to bear the penalty. After 3 months, if I'll stop Naman to entertain the service, to avail the service, I can stop him. And that is why I cannot refund any money to him, because I've already said that 3 months is an obligated period, mandatory period. After 3 months, discretionary. It is on my discretion, not on Naman's discretion. Yes, friends, example of contract term. These are the basic things. Okay. Service provider enters into a contract with a customer to provide monthly service for a 3-year period. Each party can terminate the contract at the end of any month for any reason without compensating the other party. That is, there is no penalty for terminating the early contract. While period 3 साल का है, but at the end of every month, at the end of any month, any party can cancel the contract. Okay. What is the contract term for purposes of applying the revenue standard? Is it 3 months or this is a monthly period?
So this is a monthly period, sir.
Monthly period. So what is your contract term? The contract should be treated as a month-to-month contract despite the 3-year stated term. The parties do not have enforceable rights and obligation beyond the month or month of services already provided. Right? So जितना provide कर दिया हो गया. जितना provide कर दिया हो गया. उसके beyond the parties do not have an enforceable right and obligation. I mean to say, at the end of any month, they can stop the service. Okay. So you understood this contract term, right? How do you see the contract term? The contract term is that term which is enforceable at law, where the parties have an enforceable rights and obligation. Illustration number 2. A gymnasium enters into a contract with a new member. A gym company enters into a contract with a new member to provide access to its gym for a 12-month period at 4,500 rupees per month. The member can cancel his or her membership without penalty after 3 months. Specify the contract term.
3 months.
3 months, sir, in this case.
3 months is the contract period in this case. Yes, 3 months is the contract period. Absolutely right. 3 months is the contract period, right? You can see we have covered 2 illustrations from ICAI study material and we have covered 2 illustrations from my own, and it was also part of ICAI different material as well. Okay. So we have covered 4 illustration and many layman language examples up to this part, right? So we will discuss this standard with lot of examples, I would say, right? At the end of the 5th session, illustration examples, you will have almost 100 of examples by the conclusion of India's 115 after 5 classes. Okay. Believe me, when you attend these ICAI virtual classes, believe me, you guys found it very useful. This is kind of feedback board of studies and we are receiving from the student across, right? So day before yesterday, one of the fresher chartered accountant came to me for an interview in my company. So I asked, what was your score in financial reporting? He told, sir, 89. And then I asked, from where you have studied financial reporting? So he told me that, sir, I am your student also. And I was part of live virtual classes where you have taken, some classes. So I have covered my entire, I have done my entire study from ICAI virtual classes, Board of Studies virtual classes. So friends, from the self-study and from using these classes, people are scoring like 89, 90 marks in financial reporting. Right? So, and if he can score 89, why can't you score 98 or 99?
Yes,
The
yes,
only
sir.
thing is, you have to do a lot of hard work. Cover all the illustration from ICAI, study material, RTP, etc., right? All the concept will be covered in the class, not to worry, with examples, with some case studies, okay? But of course, all the examples from ICAI study material, it is due to the time constraint. Of course, this will not be able to cover, but that you have to cover in your self-study, okay?
Right, sir. We'll follow your words.
Yes. So illustration number 3, contractor P enters into a manufacturing contract to produce 100 specialized CCTV cameras for customer Q. Okay. For a fixed price of 1,000 rupees per sensor. So this contractor P enters into a contract to produce how much? 100 specialized CCTV camera. For whom? Customer Q. For a fixed price of 1,000 rupees per camera. customer Q can cancel the contract without a penalty after receiving 10 CCTV cameras. Specify the contract units. While he got a contract for 100 cameras, right? So see how I am thinking this question, right? So allow me to speak, Saminathan, first. So let's say, so this contractor got an order. So contractor is a company who will recognize revenue. So this company got an order for 100 cameras from a customer. Okay. And you know what this agreement says? That this agreement says that the customer can cancel at any point of time. The customer can cancel the agreement at any point of time after receiving 10 quantity of cameras. After receiving 10 quantity of cameras. So what is the definition of contract we have discussed in revenue from contract with the customer?
Yeah, it should be enforceable, and it can be oral or written or implicit.
Yes,
But
it has to
here,
be enforceable. And how it become enforceable? If the parties can cancel the contract without penalty, it cannot be called as enforceable, right?
Yes, sir.
It cannot be called as enforceable. So after 10 unit, the customer can cancel the contract without any penalty. So whether this contractor, whether this company can enforce customer after delivering 10 unit, whether this company can enforce this customer, no, you have to take the delivery of this 90 camera.
No, sir.
No,
No,
sir.
it is at the discretion and at the option of the customer.
Yes, sir.
So what is
After
contracted units?
10
contract
units.
is made for 10 units. After delivering more than 10 units, he can be enforceable.
After delivering more than 10 units and after acceptance of those more than 10 units, he will recognize the revenue of those units, right? Of means उसके बाद कैसे चलेगा? So on the day one, 10 units are the contracted units. If somebody will ask you how much is the contracted unit, not 100, 10. 100 is the
10.
kitty, 10 is the contracted. So subsequently, so by the time when the customer started approving, okay, give me more 5, give me more 10, give me more 20, right? Then again it will take a shape of a contracted unit. Okay. तो जैसे जैसे कस्टमर अप्रूव करेगा, कस्टमर डिमांड करेगा, इट विल बिकम अ enforceable contract. Okay. So P determines that because there is no substantive compensation amount payable by Q on termination of the contract, there is no termination penalty in the contract. It is akin to a contract to produce only 10 CCTV camera that gives customer Q an option to purchase additional 90 CCTV cameras. Hence, contract is for 10 units. Okay. Right? Clear? Is that
Yes,
clear?
sir. Yes, sir.
Friends, now in the first step of identifying the contract with the customer, there are two concepts: combination of contract and separate contract, separation of the contract. So friends, when the contract will be qualified as a separate contract and when the contract will be combined. Okay. So when the contract will be combined, what does it mean? It means आप क्या करोगे? मान लो कोई दो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हैं और उन दोनों कॉन्ट्रैक्ट को फ्रॉम द पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ रेवेन्यू रिकॉग्निशन when you will be combined, okay. So let's say I'm just giving you an example. So I am a supplier of a software. Okay. I have supplied one of the TDS software to अजीत जी. अजीत जी को मैंने एक TDS software सप्लाई कर दिया. So this is a separate contract. At the same time, I have entered into another contract with Ajit ji. That Ajit ji, this software is only able to run on a machine which has this particular another software also. For example, for running this TDS software on a machine, you should have a specialized antivirus software which is manufactured by us only. If you will not have that antivirus software, this software will not be able to run on your machine. So I have entered into a contract of selling TDS software to Ajit ji, and I have also entered into a contract for selling antivirus software to Ajit ji. Without this antivirus software, this TDS software cannot run. Friends, these are the two contracts. Now tell me whether these two contracts, accounting, revenue recognition, will be considered as a separate contract, or whether these two contracts should be combined, and then you need to look at that how the revenue has to be recognized. What's your
It,
lemon view?
Combined.
it can be combined as a single contract, sir.
Yes. So your general view, logical view is it should be combined. अभी तक आपने कोई स्टडी मटेरियल नहीं पढ़ा, अभी तक मैंने आपको कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट का कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं पढ़ाया, बट योर जनरल व्यू इज इट हैज टू बी कंबाइंड, राइट?
Yes, sir.
You are absolutely right. Now we will see that how your general view is captured by the standard setters, right? जो लंदन में लोग बैठे हैं वो भी कैसे सोचते हैं और उन्होंने क्या बनाया और इंडिया में अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड बोर्ड ने क्या बनाया, we will see that. Okay, we will see that, right? Is that clear? So what we will look at, we will look at when the contract will be combined, combination of the contract. Friends, you need to look at first thing, are the contract entered into at or near the same time with the same customer or related parties of the customer? First, you need to look at whether the contracts are entered into at or near the same time. At the same time, I'm entering into both the contract, or nearly same time, today and let's say after 5-10 days, with the same customer or let's say subsidiary or holding of that customer, right? Answer is yes. जैसे TDS का सॉफ्टवेयर था, साथ साथ ही 1-2 दिन के अंदर एंटीवायरस के सॉफ्टवेयर का भी हमने वो कर लिया, राइट? TDS software and antivirus software. So both the software. So the contract has happened at the same time or nearly the same time with the same customer, right? Answer is yes. If what happens if answer is no? मैंने एंटीवायरस का सॉफ्टवेयर स्वामीनाथन के साथ किया और TDS का सॉफ्टवेयर मैंने अजीत जी के साथ किया, then it is not a, this contract cannot be combined. This is a separate contract because of course customers are separate, right? But if two contracts, if two or more contracts are happening at the same time or nearly the same time with the same party or same customer, then it can be, those contracts can be combined provided one or more of the condition will met. Okay, right? Yes, the contract is with the same customer at the same time. Then one of the conditions should met. Are one or more of the following criteria is meeting? Question number 1. Whether contracts are negotiated as a single commercial package. While contract are two different contract, but is it negotiated as a single commercial package? Right. So Ajit ji is saying that, see, I have purchased a software from you and you are also talking about antivirus software. I'm ready to pay, but you know, the main software price is 1 lakh rupee. Antivirus software price is 70,000 rupees. So total price is 170. So let's make a deal for 1.5 lakh, 150. So this entire contracts are negotiated as a single commercial package. Okay. Yes, it is negotiated as a single commercial package. So in that case, we need to account for all the contract together as a single contract, or consideration in one contract depend on the other contract, right? Consideration on one contract is depending on the other contract. If consideration on one contract is depending on the other contract, it will also be considered as a single contract. Whether goods or services are single performance obligation, whether goods or services are single performance obligation or multiple performance obligation. If the goods or services are single performance obligation, then it will also be considered as a combination of the contract. It will also be considered as a combination of the contract, and contracts are combined and it will be treated as a single contract. Okay. So friends, two or more contract can be combined if it is happening with the party, same party at the same time or nearly the same time, and any one of the criteria should met. Number 1, if the contract are negotiated as a single commercial package, if the contract consideration in one contract depending on the other contract, means it is integrated, and goods and services are single performance obligation. Okay. If these three conditions are meeting, then we can say that two or more contracts can be combined and considered as a single contract. Let's discuss illustration number 4 of ICAI study material. Manufacturer of planes, airplanes for the Air Force. अभी recently Indo-Pak हुआ था ना, Indo-Pak war, right? So manufacturer of airplanes for the Air Force negotiates a contract to design and manufacture new fighter planes for a Kashmir air base. Okay. So this manufacturer of airplanes have negotiated a contract to design and manufacture new fighter plane for Kashmir air base. At the same meeting, when the defense minister is dealing with the manufacturer, at the same meeting, the manufacturer enters into a separate contract to supply parts for existing plane at other bases. So what was the first contract? Design and manufacture new fighter planes. What is the second contract? Spare parts for existing planes at the other bases. ये नए प्लेन कहां के लिए चाहिए? कश्मीर एयरबेस के लिए चाहिए. पार्ट कहां के लिए चाहिए? पुराने प्लेन्स के लिए चाहिए जो दूसरे बेस पे हैं. So in this case, whether contracts are negotiated at the same time with the same party? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. But whether these are negotiated as a single commercial package?
No, sir.
No, sir.
The objectives are different. The
Yes,
commercial objectives are different. The fighter planes are new. The spare parts are for the older planes and at a different locations, right? So manufacturing and supply contracts are not dependent on one another, right? And the planes and the parts are not a single performance obligation. Plane are different, parts are different. And these parts, if these parts is integrated to those planes, for example, this in the same meeting, the spare parts for new planes has been ordered, right? Spare parts for new planes has been ordered, right? And it is also depending on, for example, when you got a car, you get a Stephanie also, fifth tire also. Or when you buy a car, so the dealer also offer you accessories. कि मैट आप मुझसे डलवा लो, आप विंडशील्ड लगवा लो. So he is also, giving you some spare part and accessories. Okay. And he says that if you buy this spare part and accessories from us, we will charge you 50%. So in that case, it can be negotiated as a single commercial package. The price of one contract will depend on another. But in this case, there are two different commercial objectives. And of course, thus this manufacturing supply contract are not dependent on each other. It is not a single performance obligation. And therefore, the contract for supply of fighter plane and spare parts for the existing planes cannot be combined, and it will be a separate contract. It will be a separate contract. And this company who is a manufacturer, so they will recognize revenue on the basis of two separate contracts, not the same contract. Okay. Yes. Illustration number 5. Software company S enters into a contract to license its customer relationship management software to customer B. There is a S software company and they enter into a contract with customer B. Which contract? Contract to license customer relationship management software, CRM software. 3 days later, in a separate contract, S agrees to provide consulting service to significantly customize the license software to function in B's IT environment. So while this software company has given a license, customer relationship management license software to customer B, and after 3 days, this software company has also agreed to provide consulting service to significantly customize this software to function in B's IT environment. So this software is not able to run in B's IT environment. That is why they have agreed to provide the consultancy service also after 3 days, so that this software will be able to get utilized in the B's IT environment. B is unable to use the software until the customization services are complete. Would these contracts be combined? Tell me.
Yes, it will
Yes,
be
sir.
combined
Because
because both are
almost
similar.
same time, same party, and dependent on each other.
And dependent on each other, without this customization, B will not be able to operate. Right?
Yes.
We will not be able to use this license. तो फायदा क्या होगा? जब कस्टमर ने जिस
Single
पर्पस के लिए लिया था, जब वो ही नहीं होगा, then what is the benefit out of it? So it is a single performance obligation. So when I'll discuss the next step, you will be able to know more about the performance obligation. What is considered as a performance obligation? A performance obligation means when the customer will be able to get the benefit, either by his own or from the readily available resources. So for functioning into the B's company, B's environment, this software needs some customization, right? And if this software company will not provide the consultancy for customization, how this company will be able to get the benefit, how the customer will be able to get the benefit, and hence it is meeting one of the three condition. So it is a single performance obligation. As determined that the two contracts should be combined because they were entered into nearly the same time with the same customer, and the goods or services in the contract are depending on each other, and it is a single performance obligation. Okay. Any question up to this level? Any question?
No, sir.
No, sir. No, sir.
So
Clear,
this
sir.
was a concept of combination of a contract, right? A theoretical concept. And you can see we have covered 5 illustration of ICAI study material. 1 to 5 में 5 हमने पूरे cover कर दिए, right? And why we are discussing so much of illustration? Because the standard is very, very, very important. Right? Contract modification. How the contract modification will be dealt with? Contract modification को आप कैसे treat करोगे? You are a customer, okay? You have already agreed to buy 10 units of a product. The supplier has delivered 4 units. Now you decided to extend this 10 unit to 20 units. So is it a contract modification or not? It's a contract modification, change in the contract. So what is the contract modification? Contract modification is a change in the scope or price of the contract approved by the parties. So either when the scope is changing or when the consideration is changing. When the scope is changing or the price is changing, it is considered as a contract modification. It is considered as a contract modification. Okay. So friends, how to account for the contract modification? Whenever the contract will be modified, whenever there is a change in the scope or whenever there is a change in the price, तो क्या करेंगे हम उसको कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नया मानेंगे, whether we will consider it as a separate contract or we will consider it as a modification in the existing contract, right? Means whether I will revise my accounting or I will consider that change in the scope, that the new scope as a new contract, as a separate contract. Correct? So how to treat the contract modification? How to treat the contract modification? So we will talk about these aspect of contract modification with the help of the example in my Excel file. Let's go to the Excel file and let's discuss the contract modification. Friends, what is meant by contract modification? Okay. Scenario number one. Scenario number one. If the scope increased by way of adding goods and services, your scope has increased. Why your scope has increased? Because you have added the goods and services. You have added the goods and services. Earlier, you have decided for 10 mobile phones. You entered into a contract with Samsung and you told that I need 10 mobile phone for my employees. You are a startup, you have 10 employees and you have asked for 10 mobile phones. Samsung has delivered you 3 mobile phones till the time you have added 20 employees. So now you are saying, no, I don't need 10, I need 30 employees. I need 30 mobile phone for my 30 employees. So there is an increase in the scope. There is an increase in the scope. From 10 mobile phones, now you are asking for 30 mobile phones. There is an increase in the scope. So when there is an increase in the scope, okay. So if the scope increased by way of adding goods and services, which is different from the earlier ones, and price is also increased on the basis of fair value, market value, or standalone selling price of additional goods and services, which is different from the earlier ones. What does it mean? Whether distinct, separate, different. If I have purchased 10 mobile phones, okay, and I will buy additional 20 mobile phones, tell me whether those 20 mobile phones are different from this 10 mobile phone or not. Whether every mobile phone is a different mobile phone or not. I'm not saying कि दिखने में एक जैसा है. I mean to say, if I am using a mobile phone, of course, Priya can use the second mobile phone. Chitra can use the third mobile phone. Sanjay can use the fourth mobile phone. So this different mobile phone, distinct mobile phones will give a distinct utility to these person.
Yes, sir.
Probably I will use the mobile phone only for the calling purposes. Might be Sanjay is using only largely for WhatsApp. Might be Priya is largely using for YouTube classes. Okay. So everyone has a different uses, and the one mobile phone is different from the other mobile phone. If there is a problem in one mobile phone, is it necessary that all 30 mobile phone has that problem?
No, sir.
So what is happening here in this example? So earlier the contract was for 10 quantity. Now the contract is added by 20 quantities. So whether this 20 quantity, 20 product are different from the 10 product, answer is yes, it is different from the 10 product. Okay, right? And whether the price, for example, per mobile phone is 20,000 rupees. So what is the consideration for 10 mobile phones? 2 lakh rupees. Okay. And what should be the consideration for the remaining additional 20 mobile phones? 20 into 20,000 कितना होता है?
4 lakhs.
4 lakh rupees, right? So if your scope is increasing, three things. If your scope is increasing means addition of additional goods and services. And the additional goods and services are different from earlier ones. Third, and the price which is also getting added, the price which is also increasing, it is in line with the fair market value of those goods and services, right? For example, so Sanjay is leading a startup. Sanjay, and I am a mobile company. Sanjay has given me an order of 10 mobile phones for 20,000 rupees each. The contract value is 2 lakh rupees. Now Sanjay has added 20 more employees in his company. Sanjay came to me and asked, sir, please extend my contract. Please revise my contract from 10 mobile phone to 30 mobile phone. So I need 20 mobile phone more. I told Sanjay, okay. So earlier your contract was, for 2 lakh rupee. Now your contract will become 6 lakh rupee. So Sanjay told, see, earlier my order was a small order. It was only for 10 mobile phone. But now this order is for 30 mobile phone. So now you should consider giving me more discount, right? I agree. The price is 20,000 rupees per mobile phone, but please give me more discount. Okay. And don't keep the price at 20,000. I will pay you 15,000 rupees per mobile phone. Okay. So for entire 30 mobile phones. So what Sanjay is doing, Sanjay is negotiating as a single contract. Okay. Sanjay is saying for 30 mobile phone, your total price would be 4.5 lakh. Already 2 lakh rupee I have already given you as an advance. I will give you 2.5 lakh rupees more and you will provide me 20 more mobile phones. Now the question is whether this 20 mobile phone in this case will be considered as a separate contract or it will be considered as a modification in the existing contract.
Modification from the existing contract.
Modification in the existing contract, right? Why? Because the addition in the goods and services the market price of those additional goods and services is not in line with the addition in the goods and services in this contract. While the product are different, while the mobile phone are different, it will give a different utility to the different parties, but the price is not in line with the market price. Okay. So friends, in situation number 1, when there is a change in the scope, there is an increase in the goods and services, and the goods and services are the different one, and the price is also increased on the basis of fair market value of the additional goods and services. Consider this modification as a new contract. Old contract will run as it is, new contract will run as a separate contract. For example, there was an initial contract entered on a 1st February. I told that I will take 10 classes at a rate of 20,000 rupees. So I have entered into a contract with a company to provide a training on Ind AS. And I told that I will charge 20,000 rupees for every class. Okay. And the initial contract was for 10 classes to the employees of that company. So the contract price was 2 lakh rupee. Okay. Till 31st March, 8 classes were taken. How much revenue will be recognized till 31st March? Tell me.
1,60,000.
1,60,000 because every class is a different class, 20,000 revenue per class. Okay. So 1,60,000 revenue should be recognized. Debtors account debit to revenue. In the month of March itself, after delivery of 8 classes, the company wants to have 5 more sessions. And the market rate of such training at that point of time become 25,000 per session. Earlier, the market rate was 20,000 rupees. But now this company wants 5 more sessions. So 5 more sessions. So what is the market rate of this training at the time of modification?
1,25,000.
25,000. It become expensive now. हो सकता है ना, हो सकता है मोबाइल फोन पहले 20,000 का ऑर्डर किया था, हो सकता है कि इनपुट प्राइसेस हैव गॉन अप, द प्राइस ऑफ द मोबाइल फोन हैज गॉन अप. Now the mobile company will say that, listen, I have given you mobile phones at 20,000 rupees. That price was for that time. Now the price has gone up because the input prices has gone up. Now it is 25,000 rupees. So the total session becomes 15 now. The total sessions become 15 now. Okay. The question is whether it will be a modification of existing contract or 5 classes will be a new contract.
5 class will be new contract, sir.
Will be under new contract.
The
Separate
5,
contract.
yes. So 10 initial 10 classes contract is one contract. This 5 classes contract will be a new contract if the price, the increase of the price of 5 classes is also in line with the market price. Okay. But if this customer will say that, see, don't see this class as only 5 class, see this class in entirety as a 15 class. You have charged me a rate of 20,000, right? I have already entered into contract for 10 classes. So think from the perspective of 15 classes and charge only 20,000 rupees. So in this case, will it be a new contract or amendment in the existing contract?
Amendment in the existing
contract.
Modification.
Right? So depends. So analysis. This will be considered as a new contract because the additional goods and services are sold at the market price for the additional scope. So new contract, what is my new contract revenue? 5 classes. Whenever this company will complete 5 classes, the company will recognize revenue on the basis of 25,000 rupees for new contract. Case 2, the scope has been increased, but the price has not been increased at market value. For example, in this case, consider the modification as a revision in the contract or modification in the existing contract. For example, the company has entered into a contract on 1st February for 10 classes at 20,000 rupees. 2 lakh rupees the contract price for the training. In the month of March itself, after delivery of 8 classes, the company wants to have 5 more sessions. The market rate of such training at that point of time become 25,000 rupees per session. But the customer has negotiated at 18,000 for the subsequent session, considering the total number of trainings, right? The total sessions become 15 now. Okay. So friends, the customer told, see, I have paid you 20,000 rupees for first 10 sessions. But now these are 15 sessions, not 5 additional, 15 total. So what I'll pay you, while I know market rate is 25,000, but I'll pay you only 18,000 rupees for remaining 5 sessions. So tell me whether this remaining 5 sessions will be considered as a new contract at the rate of 18,000, or it will be considered as an amendment or revision in the existing contract.
Revision in
Revision of the existing contract.
Revision in the existing contract. Why? Because the price is getting influenced, right, due to the existing contract, and this entire contract has to be seen in the entirety. Okay. Since the additional goods and services are not negotiated at a market price, hence the 5 session will not be considered as a separate contract. Rather, this will be considered as a modification in the contract. तो आप इसको कैसे compute करोगे? Compute the revised total consideration. What is the price for 10 session? 2 lakh. 5 session? 10 session, 2 lakh. 5 session, 90,000. What is the total? What is the total amended price?
2,90,000.
And what is the revised rate per session? 290 for 15 session means 19,333 for per session. Right? It's not like 20,000 for 10 and 18,000 for 5. No. It is 19,333 for 15 session. So how much revenue will recognize for the first year for 8 classes? 19,333 multiplied by 8. Not 20,000 multiplied by 8.
But sir, we initially recognized 20,000, right? We have to reverse that extra.
So for example, you have already recognized, and subsequently, so up to 31st March, you have recognized 1,60,000. Subsequently, this has happened, right? In that case, you will reverse in the next year. Your next year revenue will become low. Okay. Your old number will not be restated. Correct. But let's say कि ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट मार्च में ही हो गया बिफोर क्लोजिंग द बुक्स, और आपने फरवरी में मान लो 160 रिकॉग्नाइज किया था, तो 160 एंड 154 667, हाउ मच इज द डिफरेंस? तो आप मार्च में जैसे ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हुआ मार्च में आप क्या करोगे? उतना एंट्री को आप रिवाइज कर दोगे, रिवर्स करोगे. 5333 you will reverse, so that in the full year you will see the revenue 154 667. Okay.
Right, sir. Like we reverse that the Indirium 34, the income tax reversal.
Yes, exactly, yes. Let's elaborate the case to example.
फिर अगर नेक्स्ट मंथ में होगा तो?
अगर नेक्स्ट मंथ में,
नेक्स्ट ईयर में होता है
तो
if it is happening in the next year, in the first year you have already recognized 1,60,000, so you will take that reversal in the next year only, right? आपका next year का revenue कम हो जाएगा. The last year will not change. Okay. अगर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ही आपका मॉडिफाई नेक्स्ट ईयर में हुआ है, यू हैव टू टेक द एंट्री इन द नेक्स्ट ईयर, नॉट इन द लास्ट ईयर. क्लियर? इज इट क्लियर?
यस सर.
Yes, sir. Very much clear.
Let's elaborate the case to example. इसको थोड़ा और elaborate करते हैं. The company has delivered 8 sessions in the last year and closed the books of accounts. In the current year, 2 sessions are still pending. The customer approached the company for 5 more sessions at a negotiated price of 18,000 per session for the additional scope. Suggest what revenue needs to be recognized in the last year and in the current year, assuming the remaining 2 sessions and 5 additional sessions are completed in the current year, right? Okay. तो क्या करेंगे? This is your example which you are asking. The company has delivered 8 sessions, year closed. In the next year, this contract was modified. What will happen in the next year? So in the first year, 8 classes revenue will recognize at 1,60,000, chapter closed. In the next year, since the additional goods and services are not negotiated at a market price, hence the 5 session will not be considered as a separate contract. Rather, this will be considered as a modification in the existing contract, right? So what is the total revised consideration price? 2 lakh for 10 session, 5 session, 90,000, 290 total, 19,333 for what? Per session. Okay. So what is the total revenue for entire 15 sessions? 2,90,000. How much you have already recognized in the last year? 160. So how much you are going to be recognized in this year? 130. करेक्ट? अगर ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट लास्ट ईयर ही नेगोशिएट हो गया होता तो क्या होता? तो आप इस साल में कितना रिकॉग्नाइज करते? लास्ट ईयर यू हैव गिवन 8 सेशंस, this year you have given 7 sessions, so how much you would have recognized in the last year? This much. And in this year this much. Total क्या होता? Total 290 होता. But since you have negotiated the contract in this year and in the last year you have already recognized how much? आपने कितना recognize किया last year? Already 160. So how much you will recognize? 130. Total 290.
290.
मतलब आप इसका जो रिवर्सल है आपको 135 करना था, मतलब इसका 5333 का रिवर्सल आपने इस साल में ले लिया. करेक्ट?
Yes, sir.
इज दैट राइट? समझ आ गया ना आपको?
Yes, sir.
इज इट क्लियर टू एवरीवन? क्लियर इन माइंड और क्लियर फ्रॉम माइंड?
Sir, can't we apply prior period adjustments here?
No. Why? Because this is because you know why it is not a prior period adjustment? Because this amendment in the existing contract was never happened in the last year. This is a situation of the current year. Okay? So if your standard allows you these kind of adjustment, every company will plan accordingly. आप जब बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स क्लोज कर रहे हो, आपको पता लगा अरे मेरा इस बार प्रॉफिट बहुत ज्यादा आ रहा है, तो आप क्या करोगे? You start thinking about reversing the revenue so that you will have a higher revenue in the current year.
Yeah.
So you will plan accordingly. So that is why, since this negotiation has happened, so that's what she has asked, no sir, what happens if we have already recognized the revenue? Should we reverse the revenue in the last year only? So that is why I have given this example.
Yes. Sir, in this case, we will reverse the revenue of 5,336.
Yes. In the current year. Tabi, that is why Saminathan, it is coming at 130, na? Otherwise, what would have been the revenue at the 19,333? 135,333, right? In last year, it should be 154,666. Since you have already recognized in the last year, which is 5,333 more, so that is why you'll reverse in this year. So last year अगर देखोगे तो आपने ज्यादा कितना recognize किया? 160 minus this. So this year you will have a reversal impact. 5333 negative. और टू कट अ लॉन्ग स्टोरी शॉर्ट, आपको 15 सेशन का 2,90,000 रिकॉग्नाइज करना है. यू हैव टू रिकॉग्नाइज 290 फॉर 15 सेशंस. तो एडिशनली रिकॉग्नाइज करेंगे ना. सो
रिवीजन में हमारे पास 2 जर्नल एंट्रीज आएगी ना, 1 रिवर्सल की और 1 बुकिंग की at the rate of 19,332.
You are right. Yes, 2 journal entries will be there. Okay, so one for the recognition, which is customer account debit to revenue 135,33333, and the second one is for reversal, again revenue account debit to customer 5333. Okay, net तो एंट्री क्या होगी? कस्टमर टू रेवेन्यू 130. So revision in existing contract happens in 2 manner. Number 1, updating the existing contract and take the revised impact. Second, terminate the earlier contract and consider the revised contract as a new contract. Okay, 2 तरीके से हो सकता है revision in contract, कि आपने existing contract को update किया and take the revised impact, like in this case. Second, the old contract can be terminated and the revised contract will become a new contract. Okay, right? I hope it is clear to everyone. This modification part is clear to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Any question up to this part? ये जो standard है, this is little bit complex standard, right? But not to worry. I have lot of example. I'll cover lot of case studies to make it simpler and simplest, right? But whatever I have explained so far, are you able to understand the context of the standard, the theme of the standard? Are you able to understand? Are you enjoying the session?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So anyone who can quickly in 2 minutes summarize what I have explained today, what concepts I have covered today, anyone who can summarize.
Sir,
Anusi, can you please summarize?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please summarize.
So we
I will
started,
help you.
we started the session with the definition of the contract, that is legal, like it should be legally bound. Then we did 5 steps model. In that we took a helicopter view. Then first step we have done. In first step we have like gone through revenue recognition, transaction price ka recognition ka we have done few.
So
Like
just to help you, and okay, so I will help you and then you can explain. Okay. So
yeah,
first
sure.
we start with the definition of revenue, and we understood the difference between revenue and other income. Okay. Revenue and gain. Then we have also discussed the meaning of contract and meaning of customer. Okay. And we understood that contract means those agreement which are enforceable at law, right? Which carries the penalty clause. Then what we did, then we understood that this standard talks about all the revenue except some negative listing, okay? Excluding some standard. Then we understood this standard talks about 5-step model for measuring each and every revenue. Step number 1, identify the contract with the customer. Step number 2, determine the performance obligation. Step number 3, determine the transaction price and then allocate the transaction price into the performance obligation. Then recognize revenue at a point in time or over a period of time. This we have also understood with the help of helicopter view of one of the example of Voltas Limited, where Voltas was selling air condition, stabilizer, providing installation service and providing 2 free maintenance service. Okay. There we have also covered the accounting entries, where we have covered that for undelivered performance obligation, we have to recognize a deferred revenue liability under current liability in the balance sheet. We have to recognize a deferred revenue liability also. Okay. And then we have discussed that for identification of a contract with the customer, it has to be approved, rights are defined, commercial substance should be there, and the entity will recognize the revenue only to the extent where the certainty of collection is there, right? If the certainty of collection is not there, the revenue is not required to be recognized at the time of delivery of goods and services. So whenever the certainty will come, the revenue has to be recognized. Then we discussed what is the contract. So we talked about the contract period, contract term, and contracted unit. So contract term are those terms, contracted unit are those units which has to be delivered, which is mandatory, right? And if any party will breach, that party has to bear the penalty or refund the money. Okay. Then we discussed that when a contract can be combined, and we have understood that 2 or more contract can be combined if it is happening with the same party at the same time or nearly the same time, and if the contract is negotiated as a single commercial package, if it is a single performance obligation, so one contract is depending on another contract, if any of the criteria is met, then it will be considered as a combination of contract. Then we discussed when the contract will be considered as a modification, right? So if there is a change in the scope or change in the price, then it will be considered as a modification. What is the accounting happening with the modification? If there is a change in the scope, but the price is also in line with the market value, then the new scope is considered as a new contract. But if the price is not in line with the market value, then it will be considered as an amendment or updation in the existing contract. And whatever services you have delivered, the revenue of those services is also required to be adjusted. जैसे मैंने बताया ना 35, 33 का एडजस्टमेंट करना पड़ेगा अगर ईयर के बाद हुआ है, और अगर मार्च में ही कॉन्ट्रैक्ट रिवाइज हो गया होता, देन यू हैव टू recognize revenue not at the 20,000 rupees per class, but 19,333 at the rate of per class. Okay. This is what I have covered today, and I have summarized in the last 3 minutes also. Thank you so much, my dear friends. I hope you enjoyed the session today, right? It's 10 a.m. and now I am calling out the session. I am concluding the session. I hope you have understood each and every concept in detail. Yes?
Yes, sir. Very much. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Session over,
Thank you,
Ashok ji.
sir.